His name is a familiar one, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, and he'll pursue his adventures tomorrow night when NBC Radio presents another comic episode of The Great Gildersleeve. So when you hear the familiar voice and hearty laugh of the Water Commissioner from Summerfield tomorrow, why, stay tuned and enjoy another romantic scramble with the one and only The Great Gildersleeve on this NBC station. And now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC. Countdown for blast-off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1.
Tonight's story, The Sea Shoot, by Isaac Asimov.
We were on our way home to Earth when it happened. 6 of us, coming home as passengers aboard the merchant spaceship Starfire, at the start of the Second Interstellar War, the one between Earth and the planet Chloro. And then it happened.
Now hear this. Condition red. Condition red. We are under attack from a Chloran battlecruiser. All hands forward to battle stations. Passengers will remain confined to the after cabin. Condition red. We are being attacked.
The interception by the Chloran cruiser, the murderous running duel of energy blasts and force field defenses. We huddled in the passengers' after cabin, terrified, not knowing how the battle was going. We could hear the desperate bursts of steam through the steering tubes as the Starfire maneuvered to dodge the enemy attacks. And then...
Now what?
The beginning of the end, you might call it.
Well, what does it mean, Stuart? You were a space pilot?
It means our generators have been drained of energy. We can't fight back.
But,
All right,
monsieur,
don't worry. They won't destroy us. They need our ship too badly. They'll simply board us and take over.
But what about the crew?
The crew, Colonel? If they have any sense, they'll surrender. If they choose to fight, they'll... Now, they're coming aboard. Now, be very still.
Oh, Mother in heaven, help us.
Be still. If only those fools on deck will surrender without a struggle.
They are fighting.
Yes, it's the end.
We've got to help them.
All right, don't open that door.
We just can't let them die.
You can't help them.
I'm going. Stop him.
All right.
Aristide.
Shut the door quickly.
Aristide, my brother.
That poor fool.
I'll get them. My brother, I swear to you, I'll get them.
Yeah, you better cover his body.
The brutes. The monstrous green-skinned brutes.
They're no more brutes than we are, Colonel. This is a war.
Are you defending them?
I'm merely pointing out the facts.
I ought to strangle you.
Why not save it for the Chloros?
I will. I promise you I will.
Well, they're probably deciding right now what to do with us. We might as well settle down and wait. We sat there, the 5 of us, and listened while the Chloran invaders killed off the members of the Starfire's crew. Among us was Colonel Anthony Wyndham, an old Colonel Blimp type with a lame leg. Wyndham had spent his life in the militia back on Earth, but had never seen a battle. There was Demetrius Poliorkitis, who had just watched his brother being killed by a chlorocarbonizer. Polly was a huge man. He and his brother had tried truck farming on Arcturus and given it up after 2 seasons. Then there was LeBlanc, a sensitive, frightened young man of 22. And Randolph Mullen, who looked like somebody's caricature of a bookkeeper. A mild, balding, milquetoast little man. And there was myself, John Stewart. I was the only one who'd ever had contact with the Chloro people. I had a pair of artoplasm hands to prove it.
It is quiet now.
Yeah, they've finished with the crew.
Mr. Stewart,
Yes, Mr. Mullen.
what do you think will happen next?
Well, they'll put a prize crew of 2 aboard and take us to one of their home planets as prisoners of war.
Only 2 of the Chloros will stay aboard.
2 is all they'll need. Why, Colonel? You thinking of leading a gallant raid to retake the ship?
Well, simply a point of information, Dashit.
All right, then let me give you another point of information. If you want to commit suicide quick, just open that bulkhead door. 3 steps inside, you'd fall on your face.
But why?
Don't you smell anything, LeBlanc? Get close to the door.
It smells like gas.
Yeah, it is gas. Chlorine gas. They breathe it like we breathe oxygen. They've chlorinated the whole crew's compartment. One big whiff of that and we'd all be dead. So just forget about rushing the Chloros.
How do you know so much about their habits, Stewart?
I lived on a Chloro planet for 6 months. You see these hands? They were mangled in the oxygenating machinery of my own quarters. They grew these artoplasm things and operated. They're weak, but at least I have hands again.
Monsieur Stewart,
Yeah.
will they kill us?
No.
Why do you say that?
Because, in their own way, they're gentlemen. Probably will be interned for the duration.
You call them gentlemen. After they kill my brother in cold blood, you call them gentlemen.
You know, Stewart, you sound more and more like a blasted Greenie sympathizer. Blasted, man. Where's your patriotism and loyalty?
My loyalty is where it belongs, with honesty and decency, regardless of the shape of the being it appears in. This is a ridiculous war. Why are we fighting these people? We can live only on planets with oxygen, and oxygen is poison to them. They can live only in chlorine atmosphere, which is deadly to us. Yet we're fighting them over a bunch of worthless asteroids that neither of us can live on comfortably.
Well, it's a matter of principle.
It's a matter of stupid pride and greed.
I don't like what you say, mister.
Why not?
Because you talk too nice about these greeny scum. They're good to you, eh? Well, they weren't good to my brother. They killed him. And I think maybe I'll kill you, you rotten greeny...
Mullen, grab him.
I can't break his hold.
They are coming in.
Foley, let him go.
They saved your life this time. But when I'm finished with them...
Quiet. I think they're opening the lock.
Well, don't get between us.
Foley, don't lose your head. They'll kill us all.
I greet you, Earthmen.
The Chloro was not a pleasant sight to anyone unused to him. He was about the height of an Earthman, but the top of him was just a green stalk with eyes. He was still wearing a spacesuit to protect him from the oxygen in our compartment. In one of his tendrils, he carried a chloran gun. As he stood in the doorway, I could see Polyarchete's eyes begin to glisten with rage. Then, with a bellow like a huge bull, he threw himself at the Chloro.
He is not dead, merely temporarily paralyzed. You 5 will remain together as prisoners of war. We expect to reach our own planet within several weeks, your time. There you will be interned for the duration of the war. If any of you attempts to leave this compartment, we shall be forced to destroy you. That is all I have to communicate.
Hadn't we better do something for Mr. Polyarchetes?
Oh, he'll be all right. Just hoist him up on the cot. That's good. Hi, Polly. Can you hear me, you stupid brute?
His voice is coming back.
Yeah. Now, I know what's going on in that thick skull of yours, Polly. You think that when the paralysis wears off, you'll ease your feelings by slamming me around some more. Well, if you do, it'll be curtains for all of us.
How do you mean, sir?
None of you know the Chloros the way I do. Unlike us, they assume automatically that any group of Earthmen they find together comprises a biological grouping, like an ant colony. The result is that they consider the group as something holy. Now, they'd never break us up. And if one of us did any harm to another, they'd have us all executed as a bunch of chlorotype perverts, a non-functioning group. So call all the names you want, but keep your hands to yourself or we're finished. My little speech had a sobering effect on the group. For the next 24 hours, we did little besides eat our rations and think. I tried to evaluate them. The colonel I had figured for an old windbag. Poliorcetes was a hate-filled brute. LeBlanc would crack first. He was like a frightened child. Mullen was a nonentity, a mouse instead of a man. Everything he did seemed prissyish. His voice had the quality of furtively rustling underbrush.
How long did you say the trip would take, Mr. Stewart?
Well, the chloro said about 2 weeks.
Gentlemen, if I may interrupt.
Colonel?
Now, it has occurred to me that perhaps you know of some weakness that might enable us to overcome these chloros.
The only weakness they've got is that they can't stand oxygen.
Oh, but there must be some way to get the best of them, man. After all, there are only
now, look,
two.
Before I answer, Colonel, I have to know your motive. Is it to save your own skin or help Earth win the war?
Oh, dash it, man, to help our side, of course. What we're looking for is the way to save the ship for Earth without losing our lives, yes?
Well, all right, let's take a vote then. LeBlanc?
I have a wife waiting on Earth, Mr. Stewart. I do not want to die.
Uh-huh. Hero number 1. What about you, Mullen?
I don't see how we could accomplish it without...
Hero number 2. Well, Poliorcetes?
When I kill Chloros, it will be with my bare hands. On their planet, I will kill dozens, I promise you.
3 down. Well, Colonel, don't you want to march to glory, an old militiaman like you?
Your attitude is very cynical and unbecoming, Stuart.
I see. Well, then I'll have to blow the ship up myself.
Stuart!
Don't worry, Colonel. I don't intend to be a dead hero.
Of course, there is a way we might do it.
What did you say, Mr. Mullen?
There's a spacesuit and magnetic boots stored in that locker over there. We might be able to reach the control room from the outside of the ship.
The outside? But how would we get outside?
Well, this compartment has a sea chute. It must.
What is a sea chute?
A sea chute, my boy, is a casualty chute. It doesn't get talked about much, but all the main compartments have them. They're just little airlocks down which you slide a corpse. Burial in space.
Oh, blast it, Mullen. Suppose you did get outside. How could you re-enter the ship?
Through the steam tubes, the ones they use to guide the ship.
Wait a minute, Mullen. What do you know about steam tubes? I thought you were a bookkeeper.
Well, on Arcturus, I got interested in spaceship models. I studied all about them. On my own time, of course.
Yeah, naturally.
At any rate, I learned that the steam tubes have an access vent directly to the control room for repairs and so forth.
And the chloros, they are in the control room.
What do you think, Stuart?
Well, it's a video sort of idea, but it might just work. We could get permission from the chloros to open the sea chute and bury Polly's brother. And one of us could slip into it, work forward, and climb up through the steam tube. The question being, which one?
What about you? You with your loud talk and your sneers.
I'm no hero, Polly. I've already said that. My object is to stay alive. The steam tube let go while you were in it, you'd be broiled like a lobster. Now, how about the colonel here?
If I were younger, blasted, I'd trounce you. You know very well with my injured leg.
Yeah, of course. Not to mention my artificial hands. Well, now, what unfortunate deformities do the rest of us have? Polly?
You just keep talking, Mr. Big Mouth, and pretty soon we'll kick your teeth in.
Of course, that's your standard reply to everything, isn't it? LeBlanc, will you do it?
I cannot.
Not even to get back to Denise?
Please, I cannot.
LeBlanc needn't go. I'll do it.
What?
After all, it is my idea.
Wait a minute. Are you serious, Mullen?
Yes.
Well, how? I don't understand. Why? Why you?
Well, it seems no one else will do it.
But that's no reason, man.
I can't think of any other.
Look here. Do you really intend to go through with it, sir?
Yes, I suppose I do.
Well, Dash it, man. Let me shake your hand. You're an Earthman, by heaven. You do this thing and win or die. I'll bear witness for you.
It was quite a moment. Mullen the mouse had suddenly turned into a man. He just stood there awkwardly while the colonel puffed his hand. Poliorcetes seemed stunned. LeBlanc was wide-eyed. And I? Well, I was in a peculiar position, one in which I rarely found myself. I had absolutely nothing to say.
That ought to bring them.
I hear one.
What is it, Earthman?
One member of our unit is dead, as you know. We request permission to jettison his body out of the casualty chute.
You may do so.
You'll have to open the chute lock from the control room.
I will do so. Is there anything else?
No, nothing else, thank you. Oh, boy. All right, come on now, we'll have to work fast. Mullen, get into a spacesuit from the emergency locker. Polly, help Mom with those magnetic boots.
Hurry.
I'm working as fast as I can. The arm, there.
All right, give me the helmet.
The helmet.
Okay. Now, Mullen, you better scratch your nose if you have to. It's your last chance for a while.
What about radio contact?
You can talk to us. We'll listen in on the helmet set in one of the other suits. The chloros won't have their set on the interphone frequency.
Wait a moment.
What for?
Dash it, what's he going to use for a weapon? He isn't big enough to fight them barehanded.
Ah, no, that's true. Well, how about one of those oxygen cylinders?
Good idea. Use it to bash them over the head.
Now, give him one of the cylinders equipped with a reducing valve. Now, look, Mullen, if your magnetic boots fail and you start drifting away into space, open this valve. See that? Now, you can use it like a miniature jet and try to blow yourself back to the ship. Understand?
I think so.
Well, I only hope it works. All right, here goes the helmet.
You'd better hurry. The light is on over the sea chute.
Yeah. All right. That means I've opened the lock. Here. Now, can you hear me? LeBlanc, give me that other space helmet.
Yes, here.
Let me switch on the radio. Can you hear me, Mullen?
I hear you.
Fine. Plenty of air?
Air's okay.
Uh-huh. Polly, open the sea chute. Okay, now help him in. All ready?
Ready?
Well, good luck. Close the chute. Pull the ejector valve. Now. He's out. Oh, God help him.
The light is out.
Yeah. The chloros have closed the chute lock.
I don't suppose he has much of a chance.
No.
Do you think he knew it?
I don't know. I just don't know.
Should I try to contact him on the radio?
Yes, I think... Wait a minute.
What is it?
Listen, the chloros coming.
Good Lord. He's sure to miss Mullen.
Yeah, wait. Polly, get your brother's body on the cot. Put a blanket over it. Pretend it's Mullen asleep. Polly, for heaven's sake.
My brother.
All right, you've got to do it, man. It's our only chance. Listen, if Mullen could go out there and
Very
risk
well. I will do it.
Earthman,
Yes.
you have jettisoned the body.
Yes.
Good. Is there something further we can do?
No, We are very tired. Our grief is very great at losing one of our unit. We would like to rest alone.
I will respect your wishes. I see that one of your units sleeps already.
Yes, Mr. Mullen was overcome with grief.
I leave you.
Oh, brother. Polly, I thought sure you were going to rush him.
With that brave little guy out there. What do you think I am, anyway? And to think I laughed at him makes me ashamed.
Yeah, I guess I've been saying some things that maybe weren't too funny. I owe all of you an apology.
Do you think it's safe to try the radio?
Yeah, we better. Hello? Hello, Mullen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Where are you?
I'm standing on the outside of the ship.
All right, now take care. One misstep and you'll be marooned in space. Now, can you find the steam tubes?
I think I've found one of them already. I can feel the rim, but I just hope it doesn't let go when I get inside.
Be careful.
I'm going into the tube now. I can feel the ladder rungs they use to repair the inside.
Yeah, well, keep in contact.
I'm in the tube now.
Good Lord. They've let go with a blast.
Oh, well, it may be the starboard tubes. Mullen!
Still here. They use the other tubes, fortunately. Now, if they don't try to correct for over-deflection...
Yeah, keep moving.
I seem to be... Wait. Yes, yeah, I'm at the end of the tube now, where it opens into the control room.
Good. Now, look, there's a small metal door there. Can you feel it?
Yes, I'm afraid it's locked from the other side.
Oh.
I can't budge it.
Mullen, listen to me.
Stewart, I'm scared. I'm terribly scared.
Yeah, all right. Now, hang on. Don't blow up. Listen to me. Are you listening?
Yes.
Take the spare oxygen tank. Bang on the metal door that leads to the control room. The chloros are bound to hear you. When one of them comes to investigate, try to hit him with the cylinder. Now, aim for the stalk on top of his body. Try to blind him. Will you do that?
I'll try.
Well, now, go on. Only one can come. The other will stay at the controls. Now, start banging. Any luck?
No, Wait, I hear something. Something's opening the lock. The door now. I hear... Ah!
Mullen, what happened? Mullen, can you hear me? Mullen! Mullen! Oh, it's no use. They must have gotten him.
Yeah, he was one brave little guy, that one.
But suppose they have just got him in the control room. I mean, maybe he's not dead.
Well,
then maybe one of us could rush them. We could bang on the door and jump the chloro.
the first guy would be a cinch to die.
Well, I would be willing to take the chance.
You?
Why not? I could try.
Not you. I'm the strongest. I do it.
Now, listen, you chaps. I'm an old man. I've got nothing to live for anyway. Suppose I throw myself at the ray gun.
Wait a minute, what's going on here? 20 minutes ago, there wasn't one of you who'd risk his little finger to get us out of here. Now you're falling all over each other.
Maybe Mr. Mullen teaches us a lesson, huh?
Yeah. Okay, Polly, give me the wrench. I'll start banging on the door. They say that selflessness is contagious. I guess maybe it is. I'd been a cynic all my life, a man who believed in nothing. Well, I'd come face to face with 4 human beings who proved that I'd been living a lie. I knew what I was going to do now. When the chloro came to investigate our compartment, I had it all planned. If only my poor, weak hands would hold out long enough. Ready?
Ready.
Here goes. That should bring him.
Try again.
Wait, listen. Shh. It's at the door.
Get ready.
It's opening the lock.
For poor old Mullen now.
Steady. No!
Let him have it! Wait! Stop it! It's not the chloro! Wait!
Good Lord. It's Mullen.
Get the helmet off. That's it. All right, now lift. Mullen, are you all right?
I seem to be quite all right.
Well, the chloros.
Both dead. At least I hope so.
What happened?
Well, I banged on the steam tube hatch and a chloro opened it.
Yeah?
I hit him with a cylinder. It blinded him, I guess, but didn't kill him. He grabbed me and pulled me into the cabin. In the struggle, he broke my transmitter. That's why I couldn't talk to you. Finally, I managed to club him down.
Well, what about the other one?
The other one almost got me. It must have heard the scuffle and came into the cabin with a ray gun. What I did, I guess, was pure reflex. The cabin atmosphere was chlorine, of course, and the greenie didn't have a spacesuit on. Uh-huh. So I just turned on the oxygen valve in that spare tube. It was like spraying an insect with poison.
Well, you're a brave man, Mullen. I'd have been scared to death. Mullen, what is it? Mullen. An hour later, false hands and all, I was at the controls of the ship, headed for Earth. We'd gotten rid of the chlorinating equipment and restored the oxygen naturally. Mullen was asleep in the cabin under a sedative. Or so I thought until the cabin door opened. Mullen, for Pete's sake, get back to bed.
No, I'm quite all right now, really. Do you mind if I watch how you operate the ship?
No, not at all. Sit down. You know, I guess I owe you an apology. I didn't think too much of you.
That's your privilege.
No, it isn't anybody's privilege, Mullen, to despise another. For years now, I've abandoned hope of finding any decency in human beings. I owe you a vote of thanks.
You embarrass me, Mr. Stewart. I didn't do it for any heroic reasons, I assure you. Far from it.
Well, why did you do it, Mullen? That puzzles me very much.
Well, Mr. Stewart, I'm a bookkeeper. 17 years ago, I left Earth to work on Arcturus. I never made much impression on anybody on Earth, although I wanted very much to have people like me. Well, about a year ago, I started to write to my family again. Don't ask me why. And then I asked for a leave of absence to go home after 17 years.
Well, I still don't understand. It wasn't patriotism or love of a woman or money or any of those things. What was it?
Mr. Stewart, haven't you ever been homesick?
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy's science fiction magazine, which this month features A Gun for Dinosaur by L. Sprague de Camp, a story of hunters in the bloodiest and most ferocious arena of all prehistoric Earth, where hunting reptile heavyweights is no job for human lightweights. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Sea Shoot, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Isaac Asimov and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Lyle Sudrow, Stan Early, Bob Hastings, Mercer McLeod, Danny Ocko, and John Gibson. Your announcer, Bill McCord.
Check, testing, what a fuck it. Don't knock it till you try it. Alrighty then. That does it. Well, if you heard this morning's X-1, it was Sea Shoot. Casualty Shoot, where they put the dead bodies in a spaceship to send them out into space. The Sea Shoot. It's a great episode. Well, good morning. Buenos dedos. Guten Morgen. Weena says, I want this wine glass. I was thinking of a wine glass the other day. The kind of wine glass that's a glass inside of a glass, so that it looks, when you look into it, it's empty, but when you look at the side, it's actually got wine in it, and the wine moves, and it can tilt because it's like inside two glasses. It's like it's in a bubble, you know. And yeah, you take those glasses and you say, hey man, I got some wine. And they go, and you go, and they think they're gonna get wine on them, and then they don't, man. Or the cool wine glasses with a little tiny hole, so you go to drink and it dribbles all down the front. A dribble cup. Yeah, novelties. Totally. Well, it is April 18th. I was going to say 1985. 2025. Definitely 2025. It is my 20,695th day on this planet. Jeez. And boy, am I burned out. Yeah. Am I going to make it to 21,000 days? I don't know. I don't do round numbers, so I like round people, but I don't do round numbers. No. So anyway, this is it. This is the last day of the week. It is Friday, Flashback Friday, fried egg, if you will. Yeah, scrambled eczema for breakfast. So, it's Friday. At some point today, we're going to talk about ditching in the 7th grade. Punk rock, bullies, the reason that I was... You know what? Bullies were the reason that I ditched the last 6 weeks of 7th grade. Punk rock is what kind of saved me. Even though I did not listen to punk rock, it was a punker, a punk, somebody who does listen to punk rock. That person was actually my hero. So there you go. There you are. It is early in the morning here. So as usual, I got hot coffee. Definitely hot coffee. Oh yeah. The video time machine is in the can. That means that it's finished and it's ready to view come 5 p.m. this evening. That is video time machine time, 5 p.m. That would be 8 o'clock Eastern. That's why I did that. So that it's prime time on the East Coast. Yeah, that's cool stuff, man. I know it is. You don't have to tell me. I know I'm cool. Sheesh, man. Who the hell is this guy? I know I'm fucking cool. I'm like the coolest dude. Yeah. I have to get my, reach over and get my Camels. Gotta put my pack of Camels on my desk here. As you can see, I put a zoom lens on my camera, so now we've got kind of a spherical edge on it. I did that because I am going to be putting a desk here. Hello, Joey, you're back. Hi. Totally. But I'm going to be putting my desk here today. So I wanted to make sure I could zoom my camera in, because the zoom button doesn't work on it. I imagine if I took it apart and cleaned it, I could probably get it to work. But in lieu of that, I decided to put on a telephoto lens, which just makes the desk closer. The desk is a little taller, and it's a lot skinnier. It's about as wide as this blotter here. I'm hoping that this blotter and a few other things are going to fit width-wise on that desk. So I'm going to be putting that in here this morning because we are going to look at chairs this morning again. Hopefully we will get some chairs. I need one good chair to sit here. Something that swivels, something that's comfortable, something with no arms, so that I can sit and play the guitar, because that's one of the things I want to do here in the mornings, is share with you my relearning of the guitar. So I haven't been playing it. I have it. It's tuned up. It's ready to go. It's set up. But I haven't been playing it, mainly because I've been too frickin' busy. So putting a nice chair here is going to allow me to then play more often while sitting here. So there you go. Joey's getting a package today. I'm getting 4. If I'm really lucky, we're going to get 4 matching chairs, and I will be able to put one in here for my co-host and guest or what have you. Also, I can flip my camera around and point it at the couch, and then mic the couch. So I can actually do something like that as well. So that's cool. I'd like to do a roving cam, a camera that I can take and point wherever I want, right? So then I can actually look at stuff without having to bring it and put it here in front of the camera. Show you stuff. Flashback Friday. Let's see here. I think what I want to do real quick here is see if I can find today's album. Today's album is really interesting here. Let me see if I can find.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, do it to me. Oh, yeah, right there. Rub it, rub it, rub it.
That's what a horny toad says. Rub it. Rub it. Yeah, I know. That's funny.
That's freaking hilarious, dude. It's so funny I forgot to laugh.
Okay. I am going to go here. Why are we whispering? Because it's early. Okay, there it is. I'm going to go to it right now. I'm going to go to it right now. Shh. All right. There it is. There it is. Okay. I'm going to view the full playlist. I'm going to share the full playlist. Okay, now I'm going to go over to where we are now. I'm going to where we are now. Oh, you found the Honda Integra commercials. All right. What year were those? Send it to me in Messenger, or in Facebook Messenger, and then I can open it up on my computer, pull them out, and put them into a video time machine. If you want to share a link here, that'd be cool. But put it in Messenger, and that way I can open it up and turn it into a file, put it into my editing program, split them up into individual commercials, if that's the deal. Because I usually get them in like a box. They're usually like just a big bunch of commercials bundled together. Right? All right. Here we go. So this is the album of the day. There we go. And today's album is Hiroshima, or Hiroshima.
Ah, that must be Joey.
Nice. So here's today's album. This is Hiroshima, or Hiroshima. All right. And these are mostly Japanese artists. All right. This one is for Joey. If you haven't heard any of this, check it out. Joey.
There's my head.
There you go. There's the record for the day. It's a great fucking album. I love that one.
Okay, there's Joey. Joey posted a message. Yeah. She loves you, yeah. Oh, she loves you, yeah. Oh, baby, oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going there to Messenger now. Oops, friggin' Yeah, see, there you go. That's kind of Now, let's not talk about where we find these things, because we want it to be our secret. We want others to go, well, how do they find this stuff, dudes? No freaking way. I haven't seen that. Like, whoa, man.
That's what we're going for.
So don't give any secrets away, dude. Remember, we are time travelers, but we are also the keepers of the time machine. It's a very tough job because you have to keep secrets about time so you don't screw up the timeline, man. See, one of these days, I'm going to actually go back in the video time machine, and I'm going to run into myself. Oh my God. That was loud. What? Oh, that's because it's on. That's why it was loud. Yeah, see, there you go. Oh, I got to turn that off. There. I muted it. Because, oh boy, that was loud. That's cool, dude. I am going to save those files, and I am going to work them into various projects. The video time machine eats up a lot of old commercials. I have gone through hundreds of commercials in the last 2 seasons of the video time machine. It's great. It's fucking great. I watch hours and hours and hours of just random videos, VHS tapes that have been uploaded to various places where I get my stuff. And it's pretty awesome. Yeah, like I said, I like that commercial, that Christmas commercial one, where she's running through the mall. It's a great fucking, yeah. You know, that's the thing. Yeah. I love to look at other countries through their television commercials, because you see a lot about a people through their advertising. How do the corporations in their country get them to buy shit, right? What do they do? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I think on this latest video time machine that I just posted this morning, it did its video checks, quality control, and copyright checks overnight while I was sleeping. I got up this morning, everything checked out, so I posted it, and it's available at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time this evening. But this evening, I've actually got some commercials from Manila, which is pretty cool. And I think I've got some Australian commercials too. But I really dig checking out TV in other countries, right? And how, depending on how popular a show is, it could be aired in any number of countries, translated into those various languages. And that's one of the things I like about DVD box sets, is you get those extra special bonus features. And some of the bonus features I like are when they do the outtakes, and then sometimes they'll load up various short portions of scenes, excerpts from the show that have been translated into different languages, you know. And I like it when they do the same scene over and over and over again in another language, German, and then Russian, and then Czechoslovakian, and then Indian, and then, you know, Portuguese. So yeah, totally, man. Totally. Oh my gosh. Oh, Maxell. I like the Maxell tapes. Those are cool. Yeah, those are good commercials. Do I have? Yeah. There we go. Here's some Maxell from, what year is this? Do I have a year on this? This is Maxell tapes here. So you just sent me a commercial on some of this type of stuff here. I love these. This is an unused 6-pack of new Maxell tapes. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. I'm telling. Okay. There we go. We're going to whisper again.
Why the hell are we fucking whispering? Son of a bitch.
Oh. Because I stubbed my toe. So I entered to win a couple of tickets to a show tonight, and I did not win. I entered to win. I never enter this stuff, but it was all I had to do was post a title, a song title. So I did that, and I got carried away, of course. So I'm sure that I was in the drawing, even though I posted way too much information. I really wanted to go. It's in Garden Grove, which is a couple of hours drive from here. So tonight would have been just, I'd get done here and go to sleep and then wake up and go to the show. But I did not win, so I will not be going to see Big Bad Voodoo Daddy and Big Sandy and his Fly Right Boys and someone else that I am unfamiliar with. But that sounded like fun, and I really love the idea of going someplace out of town to see Big Sandy and the Fly Right Boys. That's cool. I did post a picture of my Big Sandy and his Fly Right Trio album, which is his first album, and I have a first edition of that. It's unopened, so I posted a picture of that. I'm like, do songs from this one count? Right? Because he's the Fly Right Boys now, and that was the Fly Right Trio. So I was like, dude, you know. Clean bong, cool buds, hot coffee. Morning time. Okay. A real quick look at the schedule for the week. Morning show agenda. Episode numbers. Album of the day. Other content for the show. And then I just kind of wing it and ad-lib it. Ad-lib it. That's what I like to do. Yeah. Check out Hiroshima. It's a great fucking album. I'm going to heat up my coffee. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. You stay, no following. What movie is that from? Huh? I'm sure Joey knows. Oh my God, no way, dude. Oh my God. No way. Totally, man. What's in the box here? Well, let's see. Let's pull a few things out of them. Ooh, we can get to those some other time. We can get to that some other time as well. Yeah, let's put that back in there. I got a peachy folder in there with some special artifacts that we've got to check out. If you're my age, you know what a peachy folder is. We used to have them in school. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what I found in the old Friday box, which is just a plain cardboard box, because that pretty much sums up my past from box to box. I have got a complete unabridged super trivia encyclopedia. And the year of this one is 1979 edition, first printing in 77. So it's a relatively new book back then. 422 people were reported to have died on U.S. highways during the Labor Day weekend of 1977. Jerry Fried, the original editor of this book, was one of those statistics. The manuscript for this book was with him at the time, as he was delivering it to the publisher. Without his help and patience, this book would not be. We'll miss him. In memory of Jerome Fried. Yeah, so there you go. Somebody killed making sure this book got published. Sheesh. Trifles make perfection, and perfection is no trifle. Michelangelo. Aha! So, what it is a book of facts, basically. So, if you open up the book to any page, it's kind of like a dictionary or encyclopedia. It gives you a word, and then it gives you its a word or a phrase. It's usually a noun. All right. So the word gidget, nickname of Francis Lawrence in novels by Frederick Kohner. Movies, Gidget, 1959, Sandra Dee. Gidget Goes to Hawaii, 1961, Deborah Whalley. So it does this. It ends with the TV series Sally Field. So, Gifts of the Magi. That would be in Luke 2:11. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So it's just a book of facts, basically. Chuck Connors, an American actor, real name Kevin Joseph Connor. He was in Branded, The Rifleman, Cowboy in Africa, Thrill Seekers. He pinch hit once for Brooklyn Dodgers in 1949. He was the first baseman in 66 games of the 1951 season with the Chicago Cubs. He played basketball in the BAA 1946 and 48. This is Chuck Connors, the actor, was quite the athlete. And rumors are that he was also gay. He was a closet homosexual, which is no big deal. Bummer that if it's true that he would have had to hide it all those years. But I did actually in the 1980s see a pornographic movie starring him, and it was a compilation VHS tape that we actually got from the Video Barn video rental store. And in the videotape it had various actors and actresses doing the nasty. In one of the scenes, Chuck Connors was with another gentleman as they did their thing. Also, I remember seeing Barbra Streisand as a very young woman doing the nasty. So I've tried to find that mainly because I want to make sure that it wasn't some kind of hallucination, but that I actually saw that movie right around the time that we were watching stuff like The Faces of Death, right? Yeah, weird stuff. They used to allow a lot of stuff to come out on video stores and videos, and then be out in a video store. They just had to put it in a back room. This wasn't even a back room. It was just the last row, and there was a curtain. That was it.
That was it, man. Don't go in here. Do 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 do. Yeah.
So. We're actually getting close to about the time where in the 7th grade I had to leave one school and go to another because we moved from town to town. We did this a lot. We did this a lot while I was growing up, and it had been a while. I had gone to one school for 3 grades from 1979 to 1981. And all of a sudden we had to move, and there I was going to a different school. We did this school for a while. We had left state and come back, and then we came back. We enrolled into school late in the 7th grade, and of course, pardon me, I'm bigger because I was held back in the 4th grade. So the 7th grade was a little odd for me. I was also bullied like a motherfucker because I was a little fat oddball with long hair and grubby clothes and shit. And, you know, you couldn't talk to me because I was just weird. You know, I didn't know how to talk to other kids because to me they had weird lives. You know, they had beds and clean laundry and regular scheduled meals and a TV in their own room. They had their own room. They had stuff in their rooms. A lot of them had their own telephones, right? And it was really odd for me because I was used to living in vans and trucks and, you know, the back of somebody's yard, and, you know, it was just weird. So I couldn't talk to them because I had adult stuff in my head, right? Literally, adult stuff. And it was easy for me to talk to an adult, but when I would try to talk to somebody my age, they thought I was just a fucking weirdo, you know? So 7th grade was not fun. This was the school in Murrieta, California, where my sister and I actually got called to the office because it was a double school. It was junior high over here, and then it was middle school and then a grade school, all in one. So we got called to the principal's office and got the stinky kid lecture, mainly because we didn't have a shower. We had to shower in the mobile home park shower. which was none too regular. And if it didn't work, we didn't shower. It was, any number of reasons, And you shower and you just put on dirty clothes. So it's kind of pointless. So that's the school that we got that lecture. And what do? You tell my parents. We had to lie. We had to go through the usual bullshit rigmarole and lie. Oh, yeah, our laundry stuff is broken right now. So we're, my parents, poor parents, my poor parents. And what did they do? Nothing. What do they fucking care? It's not their school. They don't have to go there and be there every day surrounded by kids who smell great. You don't want to go to PE because after PE, motherfucker. So I never participated in PE, and I got used to not participating because I didn't want to get even stinkier, right? So the 7th grade anew, we moved to Lake Elsinore, and I have to go to Lake Elsinore Junior High. And it's different, and the kids are rowdier, and the bullies are bullier. And I'm like, every day we go there, I am just like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. The teachers treat me like shit. The staff treat me like shit. The people in the front office, the lowliest maintenance guy treats me like shit and looks down on me. The PE coaches, oh, forget about it. Some little fat long hair kid with dirty clothes and matted hair and grubby face. So nobody liked me at all. Not even me. And I'd walk through the hallways, and they had a building that was 2 stories. So there's stairwell and hallways with lockers, and there's always not enough adults around. So my books are constantly getting smacked out of my hands. I'm constantly getting smacked in the back of the head. People pushing me, shoving me, tugging on me, just being assholes, right? Because that's what they learn from their asshole parents. That if somebody's different, it's okay to hate them and belittle them and treat them like shit. So after about a couple of weeks or a month of this, about now in the year, we move there and we get enrolled and do all of this, and I'm like, oh God, I already hate this place. I get a locker, and I hate to be at the locker because any number of assholes can come by and fuck with you when you're there, and there's usually no teachers around. I'm lucky my locker's outside and not inside some hallway somewhere. And I never have lunch money, so I'm always hungry. I'm always dirty. I'm always stinky. I'm always unkept. I never have homework done. I don't even know what I'm doing from day to day. I'm just... usually every day I'm in a daze because I don't want to be there and everything is fucked, and I'm just going from emotion to emotion to emotion to emotion, and it's fucked up. Because nobody understands. I can't talk to anybody. I can't talk to my parents. My mother doesn't give a shit. My father, he just said, "Totes, suck it up." Tough guy bullshit. He doesn't understand me at all. He always treated me one way, but never understood me. He always treated me like he thought he understood me. But it was just, he treated me a certain way to make him feel good, not to get to know me at all, ever. Yeah, oh, great times, junior high. Oh, yeah. Yep. So, I just decide, fuck it. There are a couple of classes that I'm in that I really love. Mythology, perspective drawing, history, writing. I mean, I loved these classes, but I could not stand the teachers. They could not stand me. It sucked. I hated math, but there was one person, a teacher's assistant, Lisa Leonardo, who was the nicest person in the world. She always smiled. She always came right up next to me and was real close. Never backed off because of the way I looked or the way I smelled or whatever. It was pretty fucked up, but she was like the only nice person. I didn't trust her. I didn't trust anybody. So I was just cordial. If you weren't nice to me, fuck you. I wouldn't even look at you. I wouldn't talk to you. And then if I would literally look to a teacher and say, fuck you. And boom, I'm off to the office. What the hell? He said, fuck you. The kid said, fuck you. All the other kids like, oh my God, did he really say that? Yeah. Or I'd throw something. Just pick something up and fucking throw it across the classroom. Get out of here. Go. You know where to go. I never understood why I should have to sit on my feelings in my hands and bite my tongue when they didn't. They would literally talk down to me and get the rest of the class to laugh at me. At my expense, they would make funny. And I was just supposed to sit and take it. You make fun of me, and I'll throw shit at you. I'll say, fuck you, asshole. And I'm in like 6th, 7th, 4th grade. That's why I had to do the 4th grade again. I flipped my desk over in front of the teacher and said, fuck you, don't ever call me Blondie again. Walked out. Repeat. There is a thing that just popped up on my channel that's called This Child is Rated X. And it is about children in the juvenile penal system, which I was very close to winding up in. And it's unfortunate that children wind up in the juvenile penal system because of adults. Period. I know full well that adults are usually the cause, mostly the cause of every bullshit thing that a child has to go through. If there is a fucked up kid, there is an adult that made that kid fucked up. Just like if there is a fucked up dog, it's not that dog's fault. It's that fucked up human that made that fucked up dog. You know, sometimes the dogs and the kids can be turned around. Sometimes they just cannot. And they wind up in prison for the rest of their fucking lives. You know, the fucking Menendez brothers or whatever. So, I really feel for kids who walk around saying, fuck you. Fuck the world, right? Because I'm still that fucking kid. I still go out into the world, and the world still sees me as different, and I still see the world looking at me going, you fucking different guy, we hate you. Period. Yeah, I just finally, it got so bad that I would go home and I couldn't even look at my parents anymore. I couldn't look at my brother and sister. I couldn't look at any of my family because they didn't care. They didn't give a shit. I tried to say, hey, school is, suck it up, school crybaby. And I would get the crybaby speech. You're a fucking crybaby. You need to toughen up. You need to not fucking... And it's like, you don't understand. Yeah, you don't understand. I would get the bullshit. I would get the I don't care about you, so toughen up. You know, and it was fucked up. So we lived in a bus. We lived in a school bus, a 25-foot Ford 1965 school bus. It still had chairs in it at this point. We had only been living in it for like less than a year. My father got a settlement from an accident that he was in, and he spent like $1,900 and bought a school bus. It was a great idea. But if you're not going to have the money to put into it to make it, to convert it, then what's the point? It never, the entire time we lived in it, never had a toilet, never had a sink, never had a shower. It wasn't until after we were all grown up and moved out that he was still living in that fucking bus, and it finally had a shower. The great shower, yeah, it was all black paint in the shower. You'd go into that shower, and you would be in a fucking black hole. How do you get clean in a black hole, right? The guy was just, yeah. Once again, I look at your comment, good times. Yeah. So, at this point, we're still living in this school bus, and I'm still, having to find some place to shower. And I'm walking to school because school is like less than a mile away and there's no bus. So, I'm sorry, I'm on the other side of the lake at this point. And there's a bus stop right up the street. And one day, I just walk up to the bus stop, and the kids at the bus stop started bullying me. And without lifting my head, I just walked up to the bus stop and walked right past the bus stop and kept walking into the neighborhood, Lakeland Village in Lake Elsinore, right along the Ortega Mountains. So I just walked up one street and turned down another street and disappeared. The bus came and picked up all the kids and took them away, and I just walked around the neighborhood that first day. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was scared that I was going to get in trouble, that as soon as I didn't show up at school, they were going to send somebody to tell my parents. We didn't have a phone. The people's yard that we lived in, they didn't even have a fucking phone. Or maybe they did. Actually, they did. They were an older biker couple with a couple of kids. And they were pretty dirt poor. And even they had a fucking phone. But we didn't use their phone as our phone. Hey, you got a call. So I walked around, wasted time, starved. I was hungry. I didn't have breakfast, so I didn't have lunch. And then got home, and I don't even remember if I had dinner. We were living in that damn school bus, and I couldn't stand it after a while, because here I am in this school. I can't tell my brother because he thinks I'm just a little pussy crybaby. I can't tell my sister because she's younger. She don't understand what the fuck's going on. I can't tell my mother because she hates me. She just literally hates me. I'm just some reminder of something bad that happened to her. That's the way I see it, right? And then my father, I'm the reminder of something bad that happened to her, to him, but he puts up with it because I'm a kid, and it's not the kid's fault. He was in Vietnam and he saw a lot of bad stuff, and he left a kid in Vietnam. So when he came back here, he wasn't going to punish me knowingly for something that wasn't my fault. Although he did treat me completely different, and I grew up knowing full well that something was going on. Just never knew what. So we're living in the backyard of this couple, these people with these kids, and we had met them at the other trailer park. And they moved. And they said, hey, we moved. You want to move over here with us? So we did. And we parked our school bus that was still yellow at this point, still had chairs, still had windows, still had all the bullshit and lights. Had that for years. It was unchanging, like for years. We parked it next to a big giant metal barn in their backyard, and their backyard was like 5 acres on Grand Avenue. Grand and Wood, right next to a church. It's all gone now. The house, the barn, it's all gone. I'm going to do this bong hit. My father was actually still going to school to finish off a couple of classes at UCSD. So we actually did some video projects there at this place, in the barn, in the yard. So we have that tent trailer that my mother's father had gifted us to, this tent trailer. So it's set up and parked behind the bus next to the barn. It's waist deep with laundry, dirty laundry, and other craps. It's a storage trailer now. So in order to get into this tent trailer, you have to take the laundry, scoop it up, and throw it onto one of the tent beds that folds out, right? So you walk in and there's a pile of laundry on one bed over here. Then there's a pile of laundry and crap along one wall. And then there's one bed that's empty. I moved out of the bus and onto that bed and slept out there. I slept out there for a while until, I don't know, I think they sold the tent trailer or got rid of it or something. But for some reason, I moved out of the tent trailer and moved into the barn. Maybe my brother decided he wanted the tent trailer and for privacy. So I moved into the barn, which had a dirt floor, holes in the walls, was just wood frame and sheet metal, corrugated sheet metal. That's all it was. And I moved out there and just threw a cot right out there on the dirt floor and slept out there with the rats because it was better than sleeping with my fucked up family. Literally. Go figure. And so it was easy for me to get away with shit because I was never around. I was always hiding. You know? Looking at pornographic magazines and hiding somewhere. And after a while, I stopped going to school. I stopped associating with my family. I would just come in for meals and then go back out and hide. Eventually, I moved my bedroom up into the rafters of this old fucking rickety barn with dirt floor and stalls. I just put some wood up there, made a big shelf up in the rafters, and put a mattress up there and some curtains and a candle, and that was my room. And I lived up there for months. I think I lived up there in all summer long. I think I lived there until we moved back into the bus and moved into somebody else's yard down the fucking road. We just bounced around, living in people's yards, living in trailer parks. But for 6 whole weeks at the end of 7th grade, I ditched. I did not go back to school. I gave up on people. I gave up on school. There was no kindness in others. There just wasn't. I couldn't find one person, adult or kid, that I could depend on to be a friend. That was sad, and it sucked. I gotta heat this coffee up, and then we will go into what the hell did I do for 6 weeks? My goodness. 7th grade, 13 years old, 12 or 13, I think. Yeah, it was crazy. It's fucking crazy. Wackadoodle. So I don't believe that there is a photograph that exists of me, a school photo. I don't think there is a school photo that exists of me in the 7th grade. I do have one of me in the 6th grade, and then one of me in the 8th grade. But nothing from the 7th grade, mainly because we left one school before we got school photos, and we got to the other one after school photos. So not that we would have bought them anyway. Yeah. which is one reason why school photos would come around every year in our family now with my daughter. And my wife would say, we can't afford it, don't get it. And I'm like, we can afford one. We can afford at least one. Period. Don't even go there. Don't get me started on why we can't try to save as much of our daughter's history as possible. We don't get to see her for 8-10 hours a day because of school. At the very least, we can get an image of what she looks like in school, from the school, so that she has that. I think we have a school photo from every single year of my daughter's life. Into high school. I think we did junior high, and we might have done a couple in high school, but it wasn't as important as it was when she was really young, you know, and to see pictures of stuff that you can barely remember, that's important. That's real important. It's hard for my daughter to remember, I think, a lot of her school years, early school years, mainly because you have to have a lot of emotion to create those memories. If you don't have the emotion to associate with that, then you lose those memories. They don't stick around. The stronger memories are the ones that are really tied to an emotion. We have had pretty much a drama-free, aside from me, my work injury, my accident, pain, screaming out in agony a lot. Other than that, it's pretty much been drama-free and moving around. So my daughter doesn't really remember a lot of her early years, and that's okay, because I would rather her not remember stuff than to remember how horrible it was. Like my early years, I remember back as early as like 2 years old, because that memory was so fucking horrible. And then after that, a bunch of other memories that just go on and on and on and on and on. And a lot of my memories are tied to horrible emotions. So that's why I remember so much. And it's a bummer because I'm jaded. I remember a lot of what I remember. I only remember the bad stuff. So it's hard for me to feel good about much of my past, right? Oh, hot coffee, baby. Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're going to bong hit it up. 6 weeks I was out of the 7th grade. Entire 6 weeks. The entire end of the 7th grade year, 6 weeks. I was just not there. I just extracted myself from the bullshit, from the hate, from the bullies, from those asshole fucking teachers. Even the teachers that nobody liked looked down on me like, now I got somebody to hate. It was fucked up. The Coach Herrick, he was the fucking worst. From what I understand, I was lucky to get him. The coach before him was even worse. Well, see, your dad, maybe he's right. If all you're given is negativity and you don't have a lot of positive reinforcement, you remember a lot of negative. You know, like the first thing that comes out of their mouth is negative. You're not going to remember the 20 positive things they said or did after that. You're going to remember that first fucking negative thing because that is going to set the emotion. That's it. You know, like when I played that song for my father when I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I was so proud of this fucking song. And he listened to it and he listened to it. And then the first word out of his mouth was, you know, you should have done it this way. And then he went into a couple other things of why it wasn't that good. And then he said, but it's great. It was a great, good song, good effort, you know. And it was like, so I only remembered the bad, right? And it's been like that my whole life with my mother and father and my whole family, you know. when you start off with the negative, you're only going to remember the negative. You know, when this happens with my daughter, I go immediately to the positive. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That is so freaking cool how you did this with that, and I can't believe that you're, you know, that. And I would just praise, so that she's walking on clouds by the time I say, wow, you know what, next time think about doing this, because if you're doing this and you add that and you're good at this too, God, right? And I try to make the negative into a positive, and I really, really try hard. Yeah. That's just the way it is, man. You gotta reinforce with positivity first, and then you can dabble in the negative. But you know, don't just start throwing negative shit at people, because that's all they're gonna. Oh, here comes Mr. Negativity. You know, you don't even want to talk to those people, because all they do is just down. What down? What down? Stop trying to keep me fucking down, man. And when it's your own parents, it even sucks bigger, because you go to them and you want praise. That's all you want. You would just want them to go, yeah. So that's all I give my daughter. You know, I constantly. She don't even hear negative from me anymore. If it's negative, it's about me. It's about the rest of the world. It's about that asshole driver. If it's about her, never negative. It's how can we do positive, you know. Yeah. Every time I have to say anything to my daughter, I think before I speak, because I know that whatever I say that's negative is going to stick with her, and it may overshadow a lot of positivity, you know. So yeah, it's a tough juggle, man. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do, eh? Fucking bullies, man. I wasn't afraid to go to school. I was just so emotionally drained. I was so sad. Just thinking about school just would make me burst into tears, right? On the inside, because I couldn't cry at home, or I'd be just, go on, cry baby, get out of here. I'll let the cry baby go. I mean, they must have seen me as something different, right? I must not have been as important to my family as the other two children, because they'd let me go out and live in a fucking barn on a dirt floor by myself, alone. I don't even let my dog sit out here alone, because I don't want him to feel alone. I don't want him to sit out here and think about, you know, how to take over the world and how to be, I'm going to get even. No. And that's what happens with kids. They feel like, well, I'm no good, so I'm going to move out. And then the parents don't object. So what does that say? Yeah, you should go ahead, move out. Yeah, we don't want you here, go on. Just like when I ran away at 15. They never came looking for me. I never heard, hey, your parents are looking for you, right? If there was a welfare check and I had to be around to make sure that welfare people knew that my parents were taking care of me, then they would hunt me down and find me and make sure that I was staying at home. And then after that, be like, yeah, go do whatever the fuck you want. You know, if I were to cost them money by being out on my own, they would bring me home. If I were to save them money and anguish and emotion, they just let me leave, which is what they did. You know, they wanted to know where. They knew where my brother was when he ran off. They knew where my sister was when she ran off, and they kept tabs on them. They didn't keep tabs on me. Every once in a while, I'd show up and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, it's you," right? And if not, that's the emotion that I tied to it, because that's the emotion that was presented to me. Like, you're just not as important. So I didn't have any friends at this point. My brother had friends. He had friends wherever he went. My sister, she had friends. She got friends wherever she went. Real easy for them to make friends. I don't know why. I just could not. Mainly because I would start talking and they would look at me like, what are you talking about? You know? And mainly I was talking like my father because I didn't know anything else. So I would talk about things that my father knew. Old-time radio, old TV, old movies, old singers, old comedians, old stuff. Stuff that old people like, adults. And kids would go, you sound like my dad. Right? So I didn't get along with anybody my age. I'd be hanging out with the adults. At that point, I got along with one adult who was like a kid because he was mentally retarded. That's how we said it back then, and I don't know how to explain how he was today. He was mentally retarded. He was a kid in a 35, 40-year-old body, right? He loved to listen to Dr. Demento. He loved to sit and talk about Dr. Demento and the different songs and the different acts and bands and stuff, and it was great. He smoked roll-your-own cigarettes and rolled his own joints, and he and I would just sit and talk all the time. Because he was strange, so people used him because he wasn't all there. People used him. I felt like I was one of his only friends. He came to see these people because they were his friends, but I feel like people used him. Hey, come on over, hang out. Hey, why don't you buy some beer? Hey, why don't you buy some pot? Hey, why don't you... all right, well, why don't we get you a ride home? Because he's all tapped out now, right? So I know a lot of people who used people who were easy, right? And so he'd show up from Sunnymead, which is like Merino Valley now, and he'd hang out for a few days, and they'd use him up, and then they'd send him on his way. And I'd have somebody to talk to for a few days. My brother, like I said, my brother had friends. One of his friends was a guy named Punker Paul, one of a few Punker Pauls in town. This one was about my brother's age. And like I said, he stayed at home. He was homeschooled. And he worked with his father. One day while walking around, we bumped into each other. I think it was at Circle K or outside of his house or something. But he found out what I was doing. I said, I'm not ever going to school again. Fuck them. And he's like, right on, dude. You want to come in and hang out? Yeah. So I'm like 12 or 13. And I got nowhere to go all day long for 8 hours a day. Because I can't stay at... most kids would just sneak out, wait for their parents to leave, and then go hide in their room, and then pretend like they've been, home since school. That's what normal kids would do. And they would try to make sure that their parents didn't get any phone messages, right? Well, I didn't have that opportunity. My parents, neither of them worked, at least not a regular job, so they were almost always home. Plus, we lived in the backyard of somebody who would see me and report me, right? Hey, your kid, he's up in the barn. He didn't go to school again. What do you mean again? So I just walked past the bus stop every day for 6 weeks and didn't go home until I saw school buses or it was the right time, Punker Paul let me into his house. He fed me. He gave me a place to stay. Asked for nothing, absolutely nothing in return. He saw me as a little brother. Hey, little brother, what's up? Come on in. Now my parents are gone today, man. Come on in. And I would go by his house. If I didn't see his parents' vehicles there, which were if you don't see my parents' vehicles, knock on the door. If I'm here, you can hang out. And I did that every day. Some days he wasn't there. He would be with his parents. Some days his parents would be at home. And I couldn't stay there. But most days, for 6 weeks, after the first week or so, I would go hang out at Punker Paul's house. He would stay in his room, listen to punk music, and do schoolwork, right? And whatever. And I had pretty much the run of the house. And I could just hang out. If there was something in the fridge available, I could eat it. And he was just so cool, you know. He was like the big brother that I wish I had. Because at any given moment, my brother could just be like, fucking smack me on the back of the head, call me a crybaby, and try to get me to cry, try to push my buttons. And he was great at that. He was always great at pushing my buttons and making me respond to something the way he wanted me to, you know. Which, you know, I guess that's what all big brothers pretty much did, right? Hey. So, you know, and I don't hold any animosity toward anyone for what they did when they were kids. I'm just saying what I remember, you know. One of my biggest bullies was at home. And a lot of kids would have school as an escape from their fucked up family. But I would go to school and it would be just as fucked up there. So I just decided, fuck it. Fuck it. I ain't ever going back again. Nope. And I didn't go back to the 7th grade. It's a wonder I passed the 7th grade. Why did I pass the 7th grade? I didn't. They advanced me. They moved me along because they didn't want the hassle of a kid like me. That happened so often in the school system back then that kids would graduate. All right. The captain of the football team would graduate a complete illiterate. He would be able to add 1 and 1. He'd be able to tie his fucking shoes, but he couldn't say his ABCs. He could barely read Fun with Dick and Jane. Really, really sad. I got advanced because they didn't want to have anything to do with a person like me. It wasn't that I was dumb. Oh, it does still happen today. Okay, I don't know. I guess it's always going to happen. You know, they're just going to keep moving kids forward and advancing them because they don't want to deal with them. Problem child. I was labeled a problem child from early on. I was okay the first few years in school, but after I got that head injury, things changed, and I no longer was able to get along with people. And because of how I looked, they didn't want to have anything to do with me, and I could see it in their eyes. I wasn't stupid. I was living on an adult level most of the time, having lived through adult shit as a kid. So I could look into adult eyes and know, don't fucking look at me like that, you know? Yeah, see? I was held back 1 year, and they didn't want to hold me back. They knew that, and they didn't want to hold me back anymore because they knew it would start a cycle of me never advancing. So they just kept pushing me. They just kept pushing me ahead. I got into the 9th grade. They bumped me over to Saturday school. And I don't know how. I didn't advance in units and credits. I just advanced in a grade. Same thing, 10th grade. Halfway through the year, they kicked me out and moved me to home study. The next year, they kicked me out and sent me to continuation school. I mean, they just kept moving me around, you know, pass the buck, pass the issue. But back in the 7th grade, it's a miracle that I passed. So it had to have been. They just didn't want to have anything to do with me. The same thing in the 8th grade. I didn't do shit in the 8th grade to get advanced. Yet there I am in the 9th grade the next year. So there you go. There's that. Finally, the year was over, and I did not have to pretend anymore. I did not have to go to the mailbox every day and check to see if there was a letter. Where the hell's your kid? Because we had no phone, right? right? I would check the mailbox. I would take letters from the school. And they never found out. All summer long, they never found out that I ditched the last 6 weeks of 7th grade. Why? Because I tried to talk to them. I tried to explain. For years, throughout various schools, I tried to say, hey, well, why don't you cut your hair? What do you mean, why don't I cut my hair? Are you the parent or not? Right? Are you going to help me to grow to be a good kid or not? Or are you just going to go fuck off, you little rat? We got 2 other kids that are nice that we can deal with, that don't look anything like you, and they're nothing like you. They actually have friends. They're not a little crybaby. So I didn't tell my parents shit. I went all summer long feeling like I had changed, and I had learned that I didn't have to put up with shit. I could just say, fuck this, and walk away. So we got to the 8th grade the following year, and I'm still in junior high, and I'm going to go back to the same junior high school. We're in the same town, but we've moved around, and now we're over someplace that's closer to the junior high, so it's within walking distance. Now I'm walking to school every day with my sister's best friend, who is about my age. We're in the same grade only because I've been held back. So we're walking to school every day. We get along, we talk about stuff. But when we get to school, we go our separate ways. Because she's Puerto Rican black. And she's better than me, right? Because she hangs out with a better class of people than I do. And she's not me. She's not this grubby little piece of... Because at 8th grade, I'm still grubby. I still wear grubby, dirty clothes. I still don't get to shower a lot. My hair is long. I've learned to brush it, but it's not always brushed. And let me see if I can dig up a photograph of me in the 8th grade. Let's see. We're going to go to an old hard drive here and go to pictures in this old hard drive and see if I can find... That's the wrong hard drive. Alright, here we go. This hard drive, these pictures, that hard drive. Ooh, a lot of stuff there. Yeah, scanned photos. 1920s to the present. Do I have a school photos? Picture day. There we go. Alright, so here I am in the 6th grade. Let me boot this photo up here. So this is the year before. Go ahead. Go ahead. There you go. Okay, so this is the year before. Oh, wait, that's not it. There we go. Yeah, baby. So this is the 6th grade. This is what I would have looked like closer to this in the 7th grade. It's picture day, so of course my hair is kind of brushed. I loved that black shirt. Thrift shop shirt. All of my clothes were used. So in the 8th grade, I come back in the 8th grade, and you can see in my eyes that I have definitely changed. I'm still chubby, but I'm no longer pushed around as easy. Yeah, what a dork, totally. Yeah, look at, most people would call me Michelle, and they would look at me and they would treat me like, first of all, when I'd walk into the new classroom, the teacher would say, okay, we have a new student. They'd look at me and they look down and they would assume, well, this must be Michelle. It couldn't possibly be a Michael. And then they would say, and this is Michelle, and the class would giggle, and then I would say, "That's Michael," and then they would laugh out loud. And it was horrible. But why did I have to be ashamed of the way I wanted to be, right? That was the thing. And every day I was made to feel like I should be ashamed of the way I look and the way I act and the way I am. Period. It's pretty fucked up. So we go into the office about a week and a half or so into the 8th grade year, my 8th grade year. Because once again, my parents are probably stoned and they hear some noise, or they're driving down the street and they see a school bus and they're like, "Oh, fuck. The kids were supposed to be in school last week. Damn it, we missed registration again." And it's like, yeah, like you even thought. So they would take us out and take us to a thrift shop and buy us some new clothes. And run us over to the school. So there I am in my new leather jacket, right? And my thrift shop swap meet headband. And we go into the front office and they're like, "Oh, great. We're great to have another student this year. It looks like he was with us last year, but he was only with us for a short period of time. Yeah, we got to school late that year." I said, "Yeah, but then he left. What happened to him the last 6 weeks?" And my father looks down at me, gives me that blank stare that was famous for, and he just turns without dropping a beat. He just says, "He was out with bronchitis. He was really sick, so we kept him home." And I was like all the blood ran from my face. Because I was like, I thought we were going to get into it, and we didn't. And now I feel, kind of like I feel now. I mean, I feel just like kind of shaky and nervous and depressed and really, really sad, right? And so we get out to the car, and I assume I'm going to hear it all the way home around the lake. I'm going to hear this lecture about, iconic blank stare. But it wasn't blank. It had so many emotions in it. It was just blank, but you could just read so much into it. I used to hate that look. And then he'd put his tongue in his lower lip. That lower lip would start to puff up. And I literally, even as a little kid, I just wanted to dive on him and start fucking punching him. How dare you look at me like that? If I was a kid and were to look at my parent like that, I would get smacked, right? How dare a parent look at his child like that? Right? Oh, I used to fucking hate it. Look at me with such disdain and hate. Hate, right? I used to just see so much hate in his eyes. How could I be his kid, right? That's the way I felt. Like, there must be something wrong. We get out to the car, and he looks at me and says, "I don't know where you were, what you were doing, but I don't ever want to talk about it." And everything sank into the pit of my stomach. Because I knew right then and there, he didn't give a fuck. Had he given a shit, he would have said, "Dude, what happened? What? Why? What? There was nothing there. He did not. I feel like almost crying now. There was nothing there. He did not give a fuck. He was embarrassed, and that's all that mattered. And he don't ever want to talk about it again, because he might have to relive his embarrassment." Oh. Everything I learned about what not to do as a parent, I learned by what he did as a parent. The only thing was what he would say. He wouldn't live it, but he would say, "Children are not responsible. It's the parents." And then he wouldn't live it. He wouldn't be responsible. He wouldn't take the time to teach me to read. He wouldn't take the time to sit and find out why I was a crybaby. Labeled a crybaby. And then that was it. He figured that if he started talking to me about where I was or what I was doing during that 6 weeks, he'd have to deal with a crybaby, right? I might actually have emotion that I can't understand and would want to go to a parent for guidance. That's why he didn't want to talk about it, because he would have to step into that parent role. And he wasn't really my parent, so that's why, And anybody in my family can come along and argue, but the way I see it, something happened with my mother and I was created, and my father had nothing to do with it because he was in Vietnam at the time. So there's that. So he didn't want to deal with it. So I went into that school year with that new sense of I'm on my own. And by the 9th grade, I was out of the house. Because I just couldn't be with people who were just so good at pretending, right? And they can't just cut loose with the truth, right? Mainly, all I felt at home was hate. My mother hated me. My father he pretended to like me. And that just showed me so much hate because he could pretend so well. But it was just bullshit. And that's what made me just feel so much hate at home. So at 15, when I got into it with my mother, I was out of there. But after ditching the last 6 weeks of the 7th grade, having a summer to kind of let that sink in, and knowing that I could just walk off and be by myself and walk for miles and didn't have to think about anybody or anything. Go make friends with a stray dog or some dog in somebody's yard, right? Because my last dog had just died a horrible death right out on the highway in front of us, and I had nightmares of that dog screaming, right? So I was on my own at that point. I was just done. I was on my own. And even if the dog hadn't died, my father probably would have taken it off somewhere and dumped it in the middle of the woods somewhere. Because that's a better fate for a dog than the dog pound, right? Ugh. I'm going to take another bong hit to chill the fuck out. Um, 1979, this is a couple of years before that. Friday morning, April 20th, 1979. Not much of any consequence. I'm surprised that all of the family is on that early in the morning. But then again, so is Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley and that kind of stuff. Robert Pine and Deborah Lee Scott on the 20,000 pyramid. $20,000 pyramid. Robert Pine. That would be Sergeant Gautreaux on Chips. Good old Chips. Harry Black and the Tiger. MASH. I'm kind of scamming through this to see. Oh, Midday Bakersfield. Where's Good Morning Bakersfield? Good Morning America. Where the hell's Good Morning Bakersfield? Because this is Central California edition. Assignment K, 1968. Involves tale about a disillusionment of an adventurous spy. It doesn't sound too fun. I like to look at stuff like The Mike Douglas Show, Billy Crystal, Susan St. James, Melissa Manchester, Comic Gallagher, and actor Tom Bosley from Happy Days. Very cool. Totally cool. Merv Griffin. Jane Fonda is on The Merv Griffin Show with Jack Lemmon, Michael Douglas, and James Bridges. Yeah. Any relation to Jeff Bridges? I don't know. Later on Merv Griffin. Changing Attitudes on Love and Marriage. Robert Goulet, Rita Moreno, Marilyn Sokol, and director Roger Vadim. Okay, another Merv Griffin singer. Linda Clifford and Don McLean. Maude Adams, Skip Stevenson. He was on Real People later this year. Actually, I think he just started Real People. Rock group Levi and the Rackets. Timothy and Joseph Bottoms. Oh, those guys are actors. Totally. Let's see, 6 p.m. evening. What do we have on? Odd Couple repeat, Sanford and Son repeat. Oh, nothing. It's a bunch of the usual crap. News with Frank Reynolds, Chancellor and Brinkley, Walter Cronkite, more Frank Reynolds, Hugh Downs, Walter Cronkite. Just a lot of news, a lot of propaganda, a lot of bullshit. Hey, believe this, people. Believe it, believe it. You watched the news back then and the news today. Same bullshit going on. Different names, different scam. Good old Uncle Scam sticking his hand out. Only you can be sold on bullshit. So there you go. There you are. There you have it. There it is. The Muppet Show at 7:30. Hollywood Squares, Floyd Patterson, Davy Lopez, Bert Jones, Martina Navratilova, Susie Chaffee, also known as Susie Chapstick, Bill Russell, Steve Cawthon, and Lynn Swan. And Paul Lynn. Yeah. Okay, 8 o'clock, Family. Buddy, Christy McNichol, I love Christy McNichol, is recruited for the all-boys swim team and gets a crush on her coach. Different strokes. The Drummonds attempt to teach the kids about the justice system traps him into giving Arnold a fair trial for his latest misdeeds. Oh, Arnold. The Incredible Hulk. While working at a New Mexico speedway, David, Bill Bixby, befriends a retarded teenager who is having trouble fitting into the life of his brother, an upcoming driver, who is the Mickey Jones, James Doughton. All right, let's see, at 8:30, Hello Larry. Hello Larry is the show with McLean Stevenson, who was the colonel on MASH, Colonel Henry Blake, and he got into a fight with them on the show about money, and he left the show. They kicked him off. They killed him off. They decided to give him his own show at some point, and called it Hello Larry, and he was just a maintenance guy, or the guy who managed an apartment complex. Yeah. And I think he was also a radio guy. Talk show? Yeah. At least I think that's how it went. Maybe he was a radio show guy and there was somebody in the apartment there. Anyway, I think I've got a trailer around somewhere that I'll have to check it out. The movie Drive-In is on at 9. Whoa, that's heavy. Yeah. It's a cheesy movie with a bunch of nobodies in it. The Rockford Files is on at 9. Bogota One Day is a world documentary. The Dukes of Hazzard. Bo and Luke sign up to test drive an 18-wheeler, unaware that the trailer is a mobile gambling casino. Aw. California tonight, the diminishing supply of underground water in the state. What the fuck did I say? The same shit. Why was it diminishing back then in 1979? And damn it, it's diminishing. Because shit comes in fucking cycles, and it's going to repeat. Once we've repeated enough, they're going to have to just say, let's kill off everybody, reset everything, and let them start over again with that Adam and Eve bullshit. And then 1,000 years later, they'll be looking back going, what the hell's a TV guide? I don't even understand. Can we decipher this language? Right? Totally. Get Carter, English, 1971, Michael Caine. 9:30, Faulty Towers, British comedy, John Cleese. At 10, The Duke. The Duke is Robert Conrad. Red West and Larry Manetti, which is the guy from Magnum P.I., Larry Manetti, played Rick on Magnum P.I. Okay, also at 10 o'clock is Dallas. J.R. manages to subvert Gary and Val's reconciliation, and Digger follows a near-fatal drunken binge with a cruel attack on Pam. Oh, David Aykroyd is a guest. Masterpiece Theater, Lily, Part 6. More California Tonight, Dick Cavett, Hogan's Heroes. Soap is on at 11:30. It's a late-night repeat. Johnny Carson, Richard Dawson, Ed McMahon. So Richard Dawson was on Hogan's Heroes, and among other things, he was the host of the original, one of the original hosts of Family Feud. The Golden Gloves Story, Beretta, Midnight Special. All right, there we go. Brooklyn Dreams, Donna Summer, Edwin Starr, Eddie Money, The Destroyers, and Voyage. Nice. Twilight Zone, Pimpernel Smith, and Hands Across the Border with Roy Rogers at 3:30 in the morning. And then sign off, and then we go. And that does it for this TV guide for this week. And now I will shoot on over, and we will do a little bit, just a few minutes of what is going on. What's going on this week? Let's go ahead and take one more look at me in the 8th grade after having ditched the last 6 weeks of the 7th grade and spent the summer kind of living alone with my family. And this is what it's done to me. Now I'm ready to just... I remember this year vividly in the 8th grade. Some of the teachers were so tormented by my actions as a monster. You treat me like shit, and I'm going to treat you like shit. Just because you have authority doesn't mean you can treat me like shit, and then I'm just supposed to suck it up. No. You treat me like a little punk, I'm going to treat you like a fucking asshole. There was one substitute teacher that used to get bounced around. She was in a class one day, and she was just being a nag, right? A couple of the kids in the class were just being rats. And I joined in because she was one of those that would down on me, you know, look down and try to get as high up as possible so they could look down even further, right? One of those. So we made her run out of the classroom screaming, pulling her hair out, crying, running for the office. Yeah, we all got in trouble. But She didn't fuck with me anymore.
That's it. That's it. There you go.
Let's see. I want to go and see if I can find what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of this. We're going to look at what happened this week in history. Okay, we saw that one last week. We saw that one last week. We saw that one last week.
Yeah.
This week in history. Philadelphia Tribune. Yeah, it's a good place. We'll do one of these. 1979, Jimmy Carter proposed Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday to become a holiday, right? One of the many, many good things that one of our greatest humanitarian presidents did for us. All right, let's see what happened today in history.
Yeah.
In 1980, this day in history, Zimbabwe achieved independence from the United Kingdom. Good for them. Good for them. 1956, abandoning her Hollywood career, American actress Grace Kelly wed the Prince of Monaco and became princess. They had a civil ceremony, and they had a huge religious, opulent ceremony the following day. There you go. There you go. There you have that. There it is. Let's see what happened this day in history. History. 1909, Joan of Arc receives beatification by the Roman Catholic Church at St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican. So to receive beatification, I believe, means that they have now become a saint or have been accepted as saint. Yeah. 1954, Egyptian Colonel Gamal Abdel Nasser receives power and appoints himself Prime Minister. Nice. How nice of him. Let's see, today in film and history, or today in film and TV. What do we got going on there? What happened today, way back in hysterical times. 1930, BBC News announces there is no news at 20:45 news bulletin. Plays music instead. Wow. No news is good news. 1944, Leonard Bernstein and Jerome Robbins' ballet Fancy Free premieres at the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City. In 1947, New Orleans, an American musical romance film premieres. Louis Armstrong and Billie Holiday, in her own feature film, play supporting roles. New Orleans. I think I have that on file somewhere. 1964, Albert Haig and Marty Brill's musical Café Crown, starring Theodore Bickle, closes at the Martin Beck Theater after 3 performances. I guess it wasn't that good. Yeah. 1964, Robert Emmett Dolan and Johnny Mercer's musical Foxy, starring Bert Lahr, closes at the Ziegfeld Theater after 72 performances and a Tony Award. All right, for Lahr. Nice. Real People premieres tonight on TV in 1979. Really? Why do I not have it? I didn't see it on the TV guide. I was talking about it. There you go. Central California Television. That's it. It's Central California Television. By gum. By cracky. What happened today in history was just amazing. All right. 1980. Yeah. 1817. George Henry Lewis, philosophical writer. It's his birthday today. That's a famous birthday. All right. Let's see some more events. 1979. 1978, the U.S. Senate approves the transfer of the Panama Canal to Panama. After everybody was talking about how important it was and how we own it's ours. What president was saying that? It was Ronald Reagan. I think it was Ronald Reagan. It's like, we own that. That's ours. We can't let that go. We got to keep that. And then boom. Boom. 1954, Colonel, we saw that. The first transatlantic jet passenger trip is completed in 1950. The Republic of Ireland withdraws from British Commonwealth in 1949. In 1946, the League of Nations is dissolved. In 1943, traveling in a bomber, Japanese Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, the mastermind of the attack on Pearl Harbor, is shot down by an American P-38 fighter. Wow. In 1942, James Doolittle bombs Tokyo and other cities. James H. Doolittle. I believe he was the guy... Yep. He's the guy that right after Pearl Harbor, this is like in December, like January or February of 42, right after Pearl Harbor. He's the one to lead the first bombing on Japan to pay them back. And then fly over to China, the mainland, and crash land there because they didn't have fuel to come back. Heavy stuff. 1923, Yankee Stadium opens with Babe Ruth hitting a 3-run homer as the Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-1. Heavy duty.
Wow, that's crazy. That's great. That's great. I'm gonna pick a day here.
That's today. Let's go see what happened yesterday. 1975, yesterday. Khmer Rouge forces capture of the capital of Cambodia in Phnom Penh. That was 1975. 1970, Apollo 13, originally scheduled to land on the moon, lands back safely on Earth after an accident. In 1983, in Warsaw, police rout 1,000 Solidarity supporters. Rout? What does that mean? R-O-U-T. Roust? I don't know. Sirhan is convicted of assassinating Senator Robert F. Kennedy in 1969 on April 17th. 1964, on April 17th, Jerry Mock becomes the first woman to fly solo around the world. Wow. All right, 1961, April 17th, some 1,400 Cuban exiles attack the Bay of Pigs in an attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro. In 1947, on April 17th, Jackie Robinson bunts for his first major league hit. Wow. And lastly, in 1929, on April 17th, Babe Ruth marries Claire Hodgkinson, a former member of the Ziegfeld Follies. All right. There you go. That's that. Let's pick another day here. Let's go back one more day. And let's go to April 16th and go to 1972. Two giant pandas arrive in the U.S. from China. 1968, on the 16th of April, the Pentagon announces the Vietnamization of the war. I don't know what the fuck that means. In 1947, I guess, Lou Alcindor, professional basketball player, is born. Well, I can't. Yeah, I guess he would be about my dad's age. It's his birthday, so Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We go by Kareem Drive, right next to the Forum all the time. In Inglewood, there, the Kia Forum. Let's see. I think we're gonna quit it with the history, except to say that in 1922, on April 16th, Annie Oakley shoots 100 clay targets in a row, setting a woman's record. Woo-hoo. All right. And let's go ahead and move on. So that's kind of what happened this week in history, in our history. But while we got a couple of minutes left, I'm going to heat up my coffee and do some more bong hits, and we'll talk about what's coming up next week. No, really. I love it. Did you know that when you start a microwave, it starts spinning, and then if you stop it and start it again, it starts spinning in the other direction? Did you know that? Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. And did you know that when you close the refrigerator, the light turns off? I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that. I know, because I've gotten inside with all the shelves and closed the door to see if it goes off. And it does. Because there's a button there, but you never trust those buttons. It could be propaganda, right? Buttons could be fake. We could be living in a fucking matrix plugged into something else. And a button that we push is just a symbol that we see in our mind, right? It just symbolizes some action, a pretend action that never really happens. What the hell is he fucking talking about? Listen to the album Hiroshima, all right? Then you'll know. Then you'll know. There's the link. It's there. It's a great album. It's going to go into the stack next to The Wall and the TV themes and the other stuff that we've had this week. Yeah, lights out, everybody. And I'd like to push the button. Yeah, that's why they put it there. That's why they put it there, you know, like those old black and white films of the monkeys pushing buttons and then they get a treat. Push the button with the banana picture and you get a banana. All right. Don't push the one with the little lightning bolt because you'll get electrocuted. And they never push that one. because they're smart. They learn. They push it once and they're like, oh, fuck no. You know? The scared ones never push any of the buttons after that. They're like, no, one button, that's enough. The scared smart ones. The other one's like, I gotta try another button. Yeah, that's me. Too scared to listen to the buttons. Good. I hope you do listen to the album because it's really cool. Save the link because after this the comments are gone and then you can't find it. So go there and share it to yourself or save it, playlist it or something. But yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Totally. What I should have done is clicked on it and saved it to the morning show playlist, which is what I usually do, but I haven't been doing everything properly today. So, let's see. I got started a little bit late this morning because I will watch those commercials that go into a file, and then I will open each one of them up and randomly, well, not randomly, but I will select different commercials to use for an episode of something, and then move it aside. And then, so, yeah. I will definitely use them. So like I said, I went a little bit long on the morning pre-show. So I got started a little bit late. So I'm in no hurry ending my show this morning. I may just go on until I hear some kind of stirring of humans. At 8:30 this morning, we're leaving. We're going to the thrift shop, and we're going to check on the chairs. I want to bring them home. I hope they're still there. So there you go. There you go. I have no idea what's going on next week. I imagine that it'll be a continuation of this week, what we didn't get to. I'll have a new movie to discuss on Monday, and perhaps an educational film to watch. On Tuesday, we're going to talk about one of my favorite TV shows. I don't know what, but we'll have something here as a prop. We'll talk about another old-time radio show, another one of my favorite shows. We'll look at something from the past on Throwback Thursday. A whole lot of somethings. There's always something to check out from the past. And I'll dig into my box of goodies. I am also at the thrift shops picking up stuff for Arts and Crafts Day. When I get my desk in here, it's got some really big, deep drawers. I'm going to turn one of those drawers into an Arts and Crafts drawer with my glue and my glitter and my pipe cleaners and my macaroni and my string and my beeswax and all of the cool stuff that we used to have when we were kids, so we can make stuff. So that'll be cool. So Thursdays are by far my favorite day of the week. I'll also have another box of 8 tracks, another case of 8 tracks to share with you. I don't know why I'm losing my voice here. It's probably just a little phlegm. That's probably it. It's that last bong hit, but I'm going to share that bong hit with another one. So Friday, I will pick another period from my childhood, my past, and we'll discuss it. Something from my early years. 7th grade ditching was my early years. Yeah, that was pretty horrendous, you know. Anyway, we'll get to some more crap from my past next Friday. Monday, I'll try to dig up another dead show for the Monday Minecrafting, okay? another Monday Minecrafting Dead show. That's important. Those are hard because they take like hours to put together because I have to find the right elements, and then I've got to do all the captions and create the graphics, and I got to research, make sure I get the right show, yada yada yada. So it's pretty heavy. Man, I think I need another bong hit. I ain't choking enough here. Yeah. So, at some point, I'm going to share with you a collection of particular records. Like we looked at and it wasn't even the complete collection of Tatsu that you had given. I went over there, and there were still 2 or 3 albums over in my box over there, my now playing area. So I was like, oh man, I didn't get those on this show. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to gather up all of the stuff I have from one particular group and present it as that's my collection of their stuff. You know, cassettes, 8 tracks, 45s, that kind of shit. So that'll be fun. Yeah, because I like to share, and I like to, say, hey, check out what I got. It'd be nice if we could post photographs here, right? What we'll have to do is we'll have to figure out a way for you to post a photograph somewhere, and then just post a link to it so we can look at what you're... I think they do it that way so that people can't just say, look at my schwanz, right? And post dick pics. Post pictures of their armpit naked and say, look, it's a coochie. So I don't know. But it's kind of a bummer, but I guess it's, Yeah, I know I'm still missing a few too, and a couple of them I didn't even get to share. So I'll try to be more complete next time. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to go long because it's my show and I can, and nobody's awake yet. So I will sit here in silence doing bong hits until. Oh, you'll send them when you get extra copies. Dude, you're the man. You're the man. Yeah, it's a good thing you don't live close because you'd be going home with records all the time. There's so many records here. And I can't possibly listen to all of them. I know I'm gonna will all of these records to my daughter, and she's gonna be like, I don't know what to do with them. So for the most part, the hundreds of records that I have here in my house, they're keepers, right? Yes, I want you to co-host. How do we do that? We have to have a day. We have to have a time. And we have to run a test. So, unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate, but I've got to go with my wife and daughter up the road Saturday to her brother's birthday party that he doesn't know about. So hopefully he's not watching. He don't watch this. Si habla español. But we need to figure out how to make this happen on a regular basis that's easy. All right. Hold on a second. Let me go to Facebook. Let me go to you, and let me go to phone call or video. Take a second and think about that. Phone call or video. Because that's important. And I should be getting an answer about now. There it is. Phone call. Okay. Let me see if I can make a phone call. Make sure my microphones are happening. Okay. Let me dial. Oh, there's a dial. Good morning. Good morning.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, Joey. Well, go ahead and speak, and I'll check my levels and see if you're coming through.
All right.
Oh, there you go. So it looks like you are coming through. Your hair is a mess. Well, that's cool. When I have a bad hair day, I wear it on my face. So
all right.
You can't hide from it, man. It was bad enough to have hat hair, but during the time when you'd have mask beard, oh man, that was horrible. So what's going on, dude? How you doing?
Fine. Bored.
Bored, of course. Well, if you're here with me, my God, you gotta be fucking bored. I mean, who else, right? So, are you off from work right now? You're not scheduled?
Yeah, I'm off. I actually get 4 days off.
Wow.
Because stores close on Easter.
Oh. So, when is your next day back to work?
Monday.
Monday night?
Yeah, Monday night.
Oh, right on. Well, I guess that shoots down the idea of doing a Minecrafting thing on Monday. But, hey, so anyone listening, if anyone is listening now or comes along later...
no one's listening.
No one's listening, right? I gotta do this posthumously. This is my friend Joey, who we met here on YouTube, and he came to visit. And this is a week after our anniversary of actually meeting in person.
Crazy stuff. Crazy. So how's it going there, Bubber? Come on, Bubber. What's up?
Oh, God.
Totally. So, yeah, I think what would be really cool is if we did this again next Friday. And I'll come up with some kind of either photographic drawing or physical representation of you, or we'll get together and pick something.
Yeah.
Or I'll use random things. I'll have some kind of random thing generator that'll give me some kind of thing that represents you, and then we'll do that. And then what'll be nice is if when I do Fridays, what I'm talking about me, then I've got actually somebody to talk back and forth with about what do you think about 7th grade ditching? How was your 7th grade experience? Like 25 years after mine. Was not great?
It was pretty shit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it like the kids, teachers, what?
Yeah, teachers, not really the kids. I don't know, my mom.
Really?
Like, I don't know, she's never let me hang out with friends.
Oh. Helicopter mom?
Just kind of, but...
Kind of?
Yeah, I just stayed home.
Right on. You were the youngest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go. She had been through all the stuff with the other kids, and it's like, I ain't gonna let it happen to this one. This is my baby.
And middle school is stupid.
Yeah.
Only 2 years over here, 7th and 8th grade.
That's what it is over here. We call it junior high.
Yeah.
Yeah, junior high, middle school. My daughter did the 7th and 8th grade at a junior high school, a middle school. And she didn't have trouble with bullies. The years before and the years after that, that school was famous for bullies. But she said she never really had trouble with bullies.
Well, that's because I wasn't there.
Right. There you go.
I was kind of a bully.
Were you?
7th grade. A bit, not much.
Yeah.
I think I was just pissed off though.
That'll do it. That'll do it. My friend Andy, who you resemble, he was kind of a punk and a bully, but mainly because he'd go home and walk in and say, "Your teacher called," and his dad would just punch him in the face. So he had it pretty rough. So he was also the sweetest guy in the world too. But yeah, I mean, if you were a bus driver and you said, "Hey, you're not on my bus, get out of here," he'd fucking hawk a loogie right on their nose. He was just not nice. But he was also the nicest guy in the world. If you were his friend and somebody was fucking with you, he'd jump on their head,
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of like that.
Yeah, he also became the sweetest non-violent guy in the world, which is pretty cool. He gave up all his weapons. He had a huge gun collection and weapon collection, and gave it all up. Gave it all up. There you go. And let's see, what can I do here? Yeah, well, there's nothing really I can put up on the screen at this point to say, look.
Well, I'm not even watching.
There's Joey, right. Well, you don't have to, because it's all taking place right here, so. Yeah.
I'm never watching.
You're never watching, you're just listening?
No, I do watch.
Oh, right on, yeah.
Sometimes I do listen, like I can turn off my phone and still have it playing.
Oh, cool. I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. I
have premium.
Oh, see, I turn off my shit and everything dies. So.
Yeah.
I bet you can hear that.
Yeah.
Totally.
I can smell it.
Oh, wow, man. That's smell-o-vision. That is totally cool. Yeah, this is really going to take the show to the next level, to have a guest host.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it really will. I've been dying to get another voice on the show for like forever. And it's kind of, fate. It's serendipitous that it would be you, because you're the only one who actually watches the show or listens to the show regularly. So you actually know more about me than most people in the world.
I know more about you than you.
Yeah, that's heavy, because I forget. I'll say shit on the show and I'll be like, did I say that?
Yeah.
I know you're going to love Hiroshima. It's different. It's very cool. A lot of different instruments and stuff.
Is it on Spotify?
I don't know. I know that I haven't heard it in a couple of years. But it is a kick-ass album. Let me take a look at it here. I don't even know. Larkin Arnold is the executive producer. It looks like it was recorded in L.A.
I see it.
Yeah. So these look like, there's one white guy back there. These look like locals, like Los Angeles locals. And most of them look, they look Japanese. So that's cool, and they are just really cool, really cool.
Is the band from America?
I believe it's an American band, and they are all like of Japanese descendants.
Yeah.
So I believe they're Japanese Americans, or at least most of them are. I think I see a Mexican guy. There's a Puerto Rican Jew. Juan Epstein. And there's a white guy. There was definitely a white guy in there. He's got to be like the bass player, right? Dude. Like Phil Lesh, big, tall, goobery looking dude. Totally, dude. So gosh, this is neat. The show is going long today. I'm glad you're bored, because usually I'll get done on a day like this and then the house is just quiet. and I'll actually have to go in and wake up my wife. Hi, honey. You want some coffee? Go on, let me sleep. Oh, sorry, honey. Yeah. I don't mind that she sleeps in on days like this. I wish I could sleep in. Yeah. I don't mind not sleeping. I actually feel like I've lived somewhat of a double life, being an insomniac and only sleeping like half the time a normal person sleeps. Getting 4 and 5 hours sleep a night, every night, most of your life. Of course, I've probably chewed up a lot of extra time too. So
that's how much sleep I get.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
there you go.
Sucks.
It does. It does. If I sleep too much, I start to get lazy, and the pain is worse. If I only sleep in 3, 4, 5 hour increments, and then maybe nap for an hour or two, overall, physically, I just feel better. I have more energy. I can do more stuff during the time that I'm awake. If I try to stay awake for a long period of time and sleep a long period of time, it just doesn't balance out. Halfway through the day, I'm just wiped out anyway. So why not only sleep for 4 hours and then halfway through the day nap for a couple hours, get up, do a bunch more crap, you know? Is your microphone, can you hear me okay? Cause,
yeah, you're fine.
Okay, because I'm coming to you on a different microphone, and it's off to my side, so just want to make sure. Yeah, that's it. I got another bong hit, so yeah, I'm going to blast your ears. Man,
sounds like crashing waves.
Right, yeah. It's crashing waves in my mind. I've got about a dozen Post-its here in front of me from the last week. And my God, I am backed up. I feel like a clogged colon. Man. So a lot of these...
You said posters?
Post-its.
Oh, Post-its. I'm getting posters in the mail today.
Oh, bitchin', what kind of posters are you getting?
Tatsuro posters.
Oh boy, I was going to say, are posters of Post-its? Yeah, that would be a weird poster.
I think like 2 big ones.
2 big posters?
Yeah.
Are they like wall size or just like normal poster size, like a theater poster size?
I think like 19 by 24 inches.
Oh, okay. So those aren't too big. Those are like the ones you get from like concerts.
Yeah, they're like promotional posters.
Okay, so those are going to look good in frames.
Yeah. So one of them was like promoting his tour from last year.
Oh.
And then the other poster is like promoting like the re-releases of his albums, you know, the ones I gave you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because those are all like the remasters.
Bitchin'.
And he has more albums coming out this year, re-releases.
All right, on. So he must be moving into the 90s now, huh? Into the re-releases?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or is he into the 2000s now?
No, he's 80s to mid-90s.
Wow.
Right now.
Bitchin'. That's bitchin'.
But he didn't release too much music in the 90s.
Really?
No, just those singles, really, and like 2 albums. Oh, and a Christmas album.
Oh, a Christmas album.
Yeah. That's going to be your Christmas present.
That sounds fun. I like that Christmas commercial. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen all of his commercials.
Right on. Cool. Yeah, I thought I was surprising you with stuff.
You can't surprise me with this stuff.
No. That's like, I go to my daughter, and I gotta surprise her with like old weird stuff for her to be anything like pre-95, and then she's like, no, that's not a thing, you know. Yes, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, so any ideas for Friday of next week, as I'm opening up a bag of pot here.
I don't know.
Because I can...
Well, why don't I come over and...
Yeah, just come on over this weekend and we'll hang out and talk about it.
Yeah.
Do some bong hits, right? Yeah.
I was trying to take time off in May, but
right.
It's like a blackout period. No one's allowed to go on vacation that month for some reason.
Oh, see, they got something planned, and the hardware stores... See, because the hardware stores...
Well, I think my assistant manager would still let me, but I said, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah, the hardware stores and the Walmarts and places like that, gas, electric, fast food, those places have to stay open during times of crisis, man. So maybe they
it's also just a busy season.
Yeah, they got something planned, man. I'm telling you. You know what? I want to do on one day, maybe a day when you're here, I want to do Conspiracy Corner. And I want to sit and talk about one of the conspiracies, right? Because I've always been fascinated with the way people take a fact or an idea or a thought or a report, and they'll skew it into the direction they want it to go, right? And they won't see anything else but that, you know. And it happens a lot all the time, and even more now because we can back it up with false information and false videos and, you know, put somebody else's face on somebody, and it's crazy. So Conspiracy Corner, I think, would be interesting to have you on so that we can have that back and forth, because you're of a younger generation, and I think your view on things that are happening now would be a great contrast to the way I see things, looking at them from the past, because I'm still in the past. I still see things through the lens of the 1980s, you know, and that's hard for a lot of people to get, and it's hard for a lot of people to do, because they're so, for lack of a better term, brainwashed by today's media. And it's not just it's what we do to ourselves. It's the smartphone. It's what we allow them to put into our brains. And at this point, anything we will turn on that phone and swipe through 1,000 videos and watch 1,000 videos about anything and everything. And how often are things, you know, funneled into those video bursts that they want us to think about. They want us to change our thinking about, you know. So as far as I'm concerned, one of my first major conspiracy theories is the smartphone and social media, that for decades the United States government and other governments around the world have been trying to find a way to read the minds of the public en masse, even so far as to create devices that suck brain waves and I mean all kinds of shit, and then to do like the LSD tests, you know, and then, as it turns out, they could just contract a student to create Facebook. And now, all over the world, people are more than happy to give up their personal thoughts. This is what I hate, this is what I like, this is what I'm going to do, I'm mad about this, fuck the police, fuck the government, whatever, right? Now they know exactly who is susceptible to influence, and they can say, okay, well, let's get this guy, he hates everything, let's get him, and let's start sending him messages and start pushing him in that direction, right? Eventually that son of a bitch gets access to guns and goes and shoots up a school, right? Now, who's to say that he wasn't influenced somehow by some government entity into doing that, right? Some subversive black operation thing. That's crazy. But that's one of those conspiracy theories that, is it out there? Because that's one that I see. That's where smartphones came along. They came along to read people's brains, because if given the chance, we'll just blah, 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 blah. You know, they use them to track us. They use them to find out what we want, what we don't want, what we like, what we don't like. You get on your computer or your phone and you talk about or text about anything. Within a day, your computer algorithm is funneling into your social media feeds advertisements on the exact thing that you were just texting your friend about. It reads everything, right? There are algorithms out there now as big as buildings that read everything and know everything about you. Like I was talking about, you know more about me than I do. Well, imagine what my algorithm knows about me. Huh?
I don't think your algorithm can keep up with you.
With all of the bullshit I'm talking? Yeah.
You're just talking about, yeah, like, what the fuck's he going on about?
What? That's my algorithm is the one that's saying, what the hell is he fucking talking about? That's the voice of my algorithm. Totally.
So you're safe.
Yeah, I'm safe. It takes like 24, 48 hours for these videos to go through the check, because the algorithm is just going, son of a bitch. Do we need to worry about him? He keeps saying all these fucking words, these key words that are on this list, you know, and he keeps knocking them out of the park. What the hell did he say now? Oh, jeez. Yeah, how many watch lists am I on, right? How many subscribers are government entities, and how many viewers are people going, yep, he did another one. Yep, oh, he shouldn't have said that.
A government entity that I sent out there to watch you.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
Come on over. Well, you know, you are awfully close to the Pentagon. So there you go.
Not saying that my dad used to work there or anything, but
yeah, we're not saying that. And that you've been groomed since childhood to be an undercover operative. Totally, dude. I totally dig it. I totally dig it. And here's to you. Cheers. Okay, well, I would have to say, first of all, that it would not be the first time that I would be on a government watch list. Not by far. I'm positive that I and my family have been on a government watch list since right after the siege at Wounded Knee in 1973. Because after that is when everything changed and we were running around all over the state and the country, being surveilled, being checked on, which of course led us to never being able to settle in one place for like 10 years. Never being able to go to the same school for more than a few months, 4 schools in a year sometimes. Yeah. So I think from then on, I've kind of been checked on, you know. And I don't care, because I'm not out to hurt anyone. I'm just a guy with a big mouth, basically. And unable to shut up when somebody tells me to shut up. You tell me to shut up and I'm going to get louder, right? Where is it? I thought you were going to say shut up. So yeah. Conspiracy Corner. think up some good conspiracies and find out what you can find out about them, because that's always fun. And then I'll come up with some weird period in my life that we can discuss, and then you can just be yourself and ask your random questions about, who's that and what's this and what the hell were you doing there and why would you even think about doing something like that kind of shit, because that would add a lot of depth to what's going on here. And then in contrast, compare to stories in your own life right at the same age. So that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. Far out, man. Yeah, I'm just now I'm sitting here kind of musing on the whole idea of having you here once a week, and then that leads me to think, gosh, if that could happen, maybe I could get someone else on occasionally on another day for something else, right? What it would be neat if I could find somebody on Monday to Minecraft with. So.
I have a friend that live streams Minecraft on Mondays.
Oh, really? And they do a live stream as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I wouldn't want to, butt
in. She has her own audience.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to butt in on. So I would want somebody who's just likes playing at home and likes screwing around.
She does stream around the same time that you would.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is she in her pajamas?
No.
See? I got one up on her, because I can sit here at home in my pajamas and in the middle of the night. I can be butt naked if I want. But I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Not anyone. Not at all. But it's kind of funny to think about, though. Minecrafting. Can I take all the clothes off my Minecraft character? I mean, you wouldn't want to run around and fight like that, because, man, one whack to the weenie and you're done. And the butt too. But a Minecraft character that's naked. Naked. Can I put a skin on that just shows him naked? That would be cool. A naked skin. No, that's a bummer. Yeah, I worked on the hull of my pirate ship. And it's the front and the back and the body of the hull. It's like a big brick. So now I have to I'm trying to decide if I'm even going to worry about the bottom, the hull, but I might want to actually put a hull on the bottom of this ship. I started from the top down and went down into the water, because I would just drop a block of wood down below the water line and then add gravel. So I was able to enclose an area below the water line, mainly because I want to have cannons sticking out of the ports on the sides. And I'm going to put those little hoppers and what are those little things called that fire stuff out? Those little things. Yeah, those things, that's it. But yeah, Minecrafting is kind of a weird game, especially for someone my age. Have you seen me play Minecraft? Do I play Minecraft like a newbie, like an old guy, like somebody who plays? How is it normally played? Is there a normal way?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't think there is. You just play however you like.
So it is just kind of open-ended and an open story.
And most of the time, I'm not really watching you because I'm at work. I just have it playing in the background. So I have no idea what the fuck you're doing half the time.
I'm really just running around trying to keep busy, mainly. It's been a lot of potatoes lately. because I have so many potato gardens and so many farmers that I'll go from one end of the village and come back collecting potatoes, and then when I come back through, they've gone through and they've harvested potatoes and just left hundreds of potatoes lying around. So I have to collect them because it's like free money. So I get on and I just spend so much time just running from garden to garden to garden to garden, picking up potatoes, harvesting pumpkins, and back and forth. And I like to spend a lot of time on the show, just showing off what I've built. Because I think it's kind of boring to just kind of watch me work on one thing, unless that's what people are into. That's what I used to watch when I watched videos on YouTube of people playing Minecraft. I'd just like to watch them build stuff from scratch. So
yeah.
But I feel like it's boring if I'm just sitting there building something. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I like
Not
to...
really.
No? It's not boring?
No, I mean, no.
That's just kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, watching me play would be boring because I don't really build. I just mine.
Oh, see, and
I let all my friends do the building.
That's why I don't mine on camera, because it just seems like such a boring thing to watch. You know, and I don't do any nighttime stuff, even in underground. Especially if I'm close to my village, I won't do anything after hours. I keep a clock next to me. When it gets dark, I go to bed, even if I'm underground. So I try not to battle, mainly because I'm scared. But it's pretty boring, you know, to watch me mine. Yeah, I guess you're right. But I need to.
No, it probably depends on the person.
Yeah. Now, exploration mining is what I try to get my daughter to come out here and do. Go somewhere on the map that's far enough away from the village so nothing bad is going to happen while I'm out at night. And then I'll take my daughter and I'll say, okay, go do some exploration mining. Go down into a cave, follow it, and mine and mine and mine as far as the cave goes. And that's fun. And then come back out and go into another hole, or follow it and come back and go into where it splits off, and do a lot of that. It used to be kind of short. When we first started playing, you'd go underground and follow a cave for short distances, and they didn't really do much. They'd kind of peter out. Nowadays, caves can open up into these underground chasms that are just like an underground world. It's crazy. It really does look like Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's. I can't do it because I get spooked out. I just expect that I'm going to die down there, too far from my bed and too far from knowing how to get back to all of my stuff. So I'll take like 2 or 3 beds with me underground and keep dropping them as I go and build little houses and caves and stuff. But even then, I'm scared to death, and I go to sleep at dark, and I put torches everywhere, and maybe that's normal. I don't know. Maybe that's what the game is designed for. You know, or did they just say, here's the game, here's how you can end it, figure it out on your own, you know, which is probably why there's so many skin packs, right? Yeah, I need a cigarette.
Same.
Ah, yeah. Bong hits, baby. I'm going to have to start keeping track of how many bong hits I do in them. Of course, if I do, I'll do less, you know. I don't want to look bad. But I've probably done like 20 bong hits this morning. Any normal person would be so completely inebriated that they would have to crawl back into bed at this point. I'm raring to go. I mean, I'm like I got a tiger in the tank, man. I'm like a lion in a cage here. And as soon as the show goes off and I eat something, my energy level actually goes doom, and I crash. And then, oh, excuse me, and then I got to take a break, you know. Oh, my coffee got cold. Oh, for the love of Pete. Yeah, so I haven't heard from Susie, the deadhead lady that hung out the other day. But I actually found 2 of the Dead shows that she was at. She told me her first Dead show in 1980 and her last one in 95. So I found both shows, and I put the first show together as a video, played it twice on Minecrafting Monday. Half the show one night, half the show the other night, and then it was just posted to my channel last night. So I'm hoping at some point now that she'll see it and recognize that it's her show. It's her first show. During the show, it's supposed to be in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I researched that this is the show and this is the set list and yada yada. So I was like, okay, well, here's the show, and it's labeled as that show. During the show, Bob Weir says, "All right, Chicago," and I'm like, wait a second, that's not Grand Rapids, Michigan. Michigan is near Chicago, but it's not Illinois. And I'm like, you know what? It probably is the right show, and they just didn't really know where the hell they were at, right? Because it's Dead, and they play 260 fucking shows a year. So I let it go, but I'm going to have to get her to listen to it and tell me, what she thinks about it. I believe she was a teenager when she saw that. My first show was in 1987, I believe. I also got her last show in Florida, Tampa. So I'm going to find that one next and do that show. So that'll be fun. But I still haven't heard from her, and I'm hoping that I do. I did go to her channel and subscribe and watch some of her stuff and see her in a video, and I'm like, she's just like me, So that's cool. She was wearing a Grateful Dead shirt, which was very cool. And she totally looked like someone I would know today and would have known back then. Yeah, so that's cool. But I can't wait to hear from her about that and find out is it the right show? Any decision on whether or not you're going to go see Pierce the Veil?
I gotta look at the tickets.
The tickets? Like what?
Right, I don't know.
Price or availability?
Both.
Yeah. What's your main concern?
I think it's still... Huh?
What's your main concern in buying tickets? Where you sit, what day, price, what venue? I mean, what's your major?
I think it's just price.
Price, yeah. With me, it was always... With my daughter, it's not price. With me, it still is. My daughter, it's not price. If she wants to see something, she says, yeah, I'm just going to spend the fucking money and go. And if I got to buy another ticket for somebody else just so I get a ride, I'm doing it. Right? I mean, I think she spent $1,500 on 2 tickets to go see Harry Styles at the Forum.
Jesus.
Yeah. A year later, to go see him again for the same tour, a different album, at the Forum again, she spent $1,000 on 3 tickets. So she got better. Now she's really good at buying tickets. She's like the ticket master. Yeah, she's got her alarm set. She gets up. She gets on the waiting list. She gets in the queues. She sits for hours listening to stuff, watching numbers tick by on her computer. She's the first in line. She knows what seats and how to get seats so she can get in, grab them before they're gone. It's like, wow. It's really cool. I used to go stand in line at an actual physical store to get tickets, and you would literally have to wait in line overnight. People would get in line days before the tickets would go on sale. You see that shit in old movies and TV shows, and you think, yeah, right. Yeah, right. It was true, man. It's like you still, I guess, see lines for movies around the block on occasion. But most people just like, fuck it, I'll wait, I'll watch at home. But lines to get tickets used to be fucking serious, man. People fighting, people staying, people shitting on the sidewalk because they didn't want to leave their spot. I mean, it would get fucking weird. Really weird. You couldn't have this, you couldn't have that. People would show up and trade places with people and go back and forth. People would rent a motel room nearby and relieve people, and they would go to the motel room and sleep and eat, go to the bathroom, come back, and they would have shifts. And then they'd show up and they'd buy 2 tickets, you know. And then there's a scalper that shows up and he buys 100 tickets. And then the people behind him are like, oh man, what do you mean we're sold out? Oh, those scalpers, man.
Yeah, fuck scalpers.
Oh, I had to buy from scalpers on a couple of occasions. The only thing was, back then, in the 80s, scalpers couldn't get a lot, right? Unless it was a really, really hardcore show. I mean, I got scalped tickets to go see the Grateful Dead in 1987. $20 a pop, because they were only $12 a piece for the lawn. And the guy made $6 a ticket on stuff that they were still selling tickets for. So that was cool. I got tickets. My brother's best friend bought me a ticket to go see Jimmy Page and Paul Rogers, The Firm, at the Forum. And he paid $20 for my ticket to get me in. That was cool, you know. So back then it was, you'd have to buy from a scalper, but it wasn't like now, you know. Well, the tickets are normally $200, so you got to pay $800. It's like, well, fuck, dude, they're sold out, bro. If you want to go, you know. Or normal prices for like Taylor Swift, it's like over $1,000. Oh. My daughter was like, I want to go see Taylor Swift, and I'm like, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. It got to the point where she's like, yeah, you know what? Forget that. That's just out of control. I mean, she only had to pay a couple of $100, I think, a piece for us to go see Harry Styles the 3rd time at the Acrisure Arena right down here. And I could have thrown my lighter at him, and he could have caught it and thrown it back to me. We were that close. In fact, it was great. He was walking around, dancing, strutting around, doing his stuff on the stage. Somebody threw a ball on the stage. He didn't drop a beat, and he strutted and kicked that thing, and it went flying. It was hilarious. That tour was a great time to see Harry Styles. A lot of fun, you know. I mean, look at me. One Direction guy? Yeah. But that concert right there, and then right after that we saw the 1975 at their very best. And that was like, got me right back into concerts again. Got me right back into music again, you know. It's great. My daughter, she turned my whole world around when she said, Papa, listen to this. You know. Yeah. Bong hit. Another thing that got me back into music was my father's passing and getting that small milk crate filled with records. That totally changed things, you know, as well. I found a few gems, and it was like, you know what, I gotta listen to these, and then I gotta relive some more and some more and some more. So that started taking me back. my daughter started taking me forward from 95, where I stopped listening to music. She started bringing me back into the present. Crazy.
Yeah.
And she still does. She still.
I never really listened to 90s music.
Me neither.
Either. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, like 60s, 70s, 80s, 2000s, 2010s, yeah.
Right. I skipped.
It's like 90s, I just skipped it, yeah.
From 95, I think, is when I just got completely burned out. And people will say, oh, it's because Jerry Garcia died, huh? People who know me. And it's like, no, maybe, but I would say no. You know, I just got tired of the radio. I got tired of listening to the same old crap. I got tired of grunge. I got tired of the perversion of rock and roll. And music changed. Music started changing from MTV day one. Music started to change. But by the mid-90s, it had changed so much, it still wasn't about the music. It was still about some kind of fucked up message. And it was an empty message, you know. And I just got burned. I just turned the radio off, started listening to old-time radio, and started listening to old music on CDs and cassettes. I would be the guy, excuse me, at the Renaissance Fair in the late 90s, walking around with an actual boombox, listening to cassettes of ELO and the Bee Gees and that kind of shit.
I used to go to school with a CD player.
Really?
Yeah.
Now,
and even work. Before I started bringing my speaker to work, I just had a CD player.
That's kind of retro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? That's kind of how I lived, you know, doing that kind of, and I still, that's how I live. If I'm going to put a movie on, I'll go through 100 movies until I get to that one that's from like 1973. And it'll be like, yeah, that's the one. Why? Because it's the only old one there. You know? And none of the other shit from today interests me, you know? It does not hold my interest at all. And it's kind of sad, because when I was young, I looked forward to a future that's not here. I was robbed of my future, my sci-fi future, my rocket cars and you know, trips to space and of course it's kind of happening now, but that's only because people of my generation are saying, hey, where the fuck's my future? So they're trying to make it happen, you know. And the responsibility falls half and half to us as the consumers and to the ad men who sold us the bullshit that we kept buying. And the bullshit that we kept buying, we're still buying it, and it only winds up in the landfill. You and I, and, you know, a growing number of people actually buy stuff that we're going to keep. Most stuff is just recyclable bullshit. Not even recyclable. Recyclable in our own lives, that we get rid of it and bring in something else, but it just creates landfills, you know. And that's sad. That they stole all these things from us that could last our lifetime, that we could pass on to our children and grandchildren, and replace them with garbage that only lasts a couple of years at the most, and then has to be replaced. Why? Because we're consumers. And consumers don't consume if you give them stuff that's guaranteed for life. Right?
Yeah.
And that's sad, because all it does is make us buy more of the same fucking things over and over again. How many TVs is somebody going to buy in their life, right? When I was young, you would buy 2 or 3 TVs, and you would keep them all, and they would be working in different parts of your house, and you would have them repaired if they went bad.
I still have my CRT.
Really? There you go. I've got a lot of tube televisions around here. You know,
Give me one.
Big giant tube in the back. They're longer than they are wide. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. Totally. I've got a great one that is a little studio monitor VCR built into it. And that's a really cool one because it's side mounted. That's a little color CTR monitor thing with the play-in buttons on. It's really neat. I like it. The only bummer is that I don't think I can monitor into it with RCA cables. I think I can go out to a monitor, but I think that's all I can do with it. But it is really neat. I was walking into the Angel View thrift shop here a few years back, and I saw this guy walking out of the delivery where you drop the donation door. Right next door to the actual thrift shop is the donation door. The guy was walking out after dropping off stuff. He goes out to the car with a lady and grabs another arm of stuff, and in one hand he's holding this TV VCR combo thing. I'm coming out of the store, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, are you going to donate that?" And he said, "Yeah, pretty cool, huh?" And I said, "Yeah. Right now, even if it doesn't work, I'll give you $10 for it." And he said, "Well, it doesn't belong to me. I'm helping this lady here bring it in to donate it." And I said, "Lady, excuse me, would you take $10? She said, "Yeah, sure." So she took $10. I took that thing, stuck it in my car, and drove as fast as I could home. And turned it on and put a tape in there. I went, "Oh my God, it works." And I was like, son of a bitch. Even though you're here on the phone, I still keep looking at the comments to see if you're going to say something.
Oh, I should.
That's how my brain works, right? Right. You're here live, but you're still typing. That would be funny. Totally. And the fact that it takes like 30 seconds to get from live to actual on YouTube. That's weird. It's a hell of a delay. Delay. Yep, and I'm still doing bong hits. I got like one swallow of coffee left. I heard my wife stir. Ah, and there she is. I was going to say, but then I haven't heard anything else. And then what do I... There you go. And there's the coffee sounds. Good morning, dear. I'm still live. I'm talking to Joey on the telephone, and he's co-hosting. So, there you go. She knows the mic is live, so they know if they want to be on camera to the whole world or be heard, then they'll say something. If not,
the whole world. The
whole world, right? all one people. Yeah, the whole world. See, that's the thing, is that the whole world ain't watching, but there is the possibility that... What's that? Yeah, Joey's the whole world. There is the possibility that 100,000, 1 million people could watch this at any given time. Somebody could take this and share it somewhere and say, "Check this out. Look at this shit." Right? So any one of my videos could all of a sudden go crazy. Right? And every once in a while, I look through my statistics and my analytics and stuff to see if any of my live shows have any great number of viewers. And I don't think I have anything that's over 100 as far as viewing, but I have a lot of big numbers on some of the older shows. I don't know. Do people sit and watch them over? One guy is watching over, and that's right, it's you, right? Watching over and over and over, going, yeah, this guy. That's right. Say it again, man. Say it again. Oh yeah.
I do go back and rewatch older episodes.
Sit there and watch. And with a knife in your hand, just sticking it to the table. Yeah, say it again. That's right, world. Take that.
stick it again and stick it again. Damn world. You tell him. Yeah. Crazy. But I don't expect a lot of people to watch. But I always address the camera and the microphone as if the entire world is watching. It's probably ego.
It is.
Right? But if I didn't, how would I talk? What would I talk about, and how would I address the camera? I'd be like, yeah, camera's on. Definitely on. Camera's definitely on. Looking at me. Camera's looking at me. They can hear me. What do I say? What do I say? So I just assume the whole world is watching, and it's my 15 minutes of fame. And I just blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how I turn it on when I get in front of the camera and I just start talking. I don't know how. From the first time I did it, and I don't remember that, I just, once the credits go off, the opening theme, back then I used to open up a blinder and be there. I just start talking. I guess because I'm used to talking to myself and actually having a conversation, a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way conversation with myself, that it's pretty easy to talk to an imaginary world listening, right? It's kind of fun. And that kills the coffee. Wow. Well, it's officially 8 o'clock, and we've had an extra hour on the show. And you've actually been here.
It's 11.
Oh, yeah, it's 11. It's 11 over there. 8 over here, 11 over there. So, I'm going to have to get rolling along. I got to get ready to get out of here and go over to the thrift shop and check on those chairs. And I'll get you one. And then I will get a mannequin and dress him up like you.
All right.
We'll have to.
I'll send over some clothes.
Right. It's the wig that's going to be the hard part. That's going to be the hard part. Yeah. I just had this picture of you sitting next to me here in effigy. Oh man, I got a mind that's like a steel trap. I wish the stuff would stay in. Yeah, so wow. This is pretty good. This opens up a whole new world for the show, especially on Fridays. Cuz it's my second favorite day of the week is the day I get to talk about myself. So yeah, let's message back and forth and figure out how we want to do this. And maybe I can enlist Natalie to take a break from her work for an hour or so and take a picture of you and create something. I think that would be cool. And then we can have that for the phone calls. And I could just pop that picture up and say live via satellite or via telephone or whatever. And have you standing there in some kind of animated picture. That'd be cool. Totally. All right, man. I guess I'm gonna head on out and get dressed and eat breakfast so I can go play with the missus. This has been
all right.
This
sounds good.
This has been cool, man. This is awesome. It sounds neat. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like. My signal looks good, all the levels and everything. So, yeah, baby. All right, dude. I will shoot. I will hope to hear from you soon. I'm going to be busy pretty much most of the weekend. But I will, yeah. I will plan the week accordingly so that we've got a lot to talk about on Friday. How's that?
Yeah. Until they change my work schedule and I work Fridays.
Good. Then maybe you'll have Monday off and we'll do Monday nights.
No, I just work seven nights a week.
Oh, bastards. I was thinking, gosh, Monday morning and then Monday night. That would be awesome. All right. All right, dude, I'm going to let you go so I can use the same computer here to boot up my end credits.
All right.
All right, man. This is awesome. This is cool. Gosh, tell everybody over there that I don't know that this crazy old weird bearded guy says hi. You know that guy? He says hi. And then we'll get an effigy. We'll get a little figurine of effigy of me sitting over there, right? That's cool. Yeah. Oh, like the opening of the Twilight Zone. And it's got that little drawing figurine thing that you use to do figure drawing. And it's got hair, but the hair attached to it is kind of wiggling in the wind. And it looks like this caterpillar, space caterpillar, sucking out its brain, right? I'm going to get one of those. That's cool stuff. What did you say, honey? Let him go. All right. Take it easy, dude, man.
All right.
Awesome, brother. Thanks for accepting my call, and I will talk to you. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Bye.
He says bye-bye. Actually, it was just one bye, but that's it. All right, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, adios. There you go. Hey, that was pretty good. I'm going to say 5 stars on my call. That was damn good. As you can probably hear, the missus is awake. So I got to get my day rolling, people. So I'm going to get out of here. I am going to go ahead and go backwards through my files, pull up the morning file, and start my closing credits for today and get the hell out of here. Even the dogs are running around like, hey, what are you doing? Hey. All right, let me get that going. All right, as always, out there, be nice to each other. Spread peace and love, not bullshit. And don't war on people. Dogs don't war on each other. Animals don't war on each other. Why do humans? Because they're stupid, that's what. All right. And do something for yourself, but most especially do something for somebody else. And as always, stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna be weird for you. All right, people, love you lots. Have a great day and have a great weekend. I will see you Monday morning for another continuation of another day on this frickin' planet. All right, on Monday we're going to be at, let's say, 20,668. How's that? 698. I'm sorry. 20,698 days on this planet. Oh, joy. All right, people. Love you all lots. You know how to make a tissue dance. Just put a little boogie in it. Go on. Get out of here, you freaks. Adios.